This is ESPN 102.5 The Game. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Chase Elliott scores the win in the Ally 400 at the Nashville Superspeedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Good Thursday, everybody. Welcome in. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason hanging out with you. Nick Keyser, intern Connor back there as well. D-Mase, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Just happy to be up and awake.
Yeah.
And at the station and
Yeah.
able to talk about sports.
I'm going to be honest. I was driving the struggle bus this morning. I wasn't riding it. I was driving it. But you know what? I'm here. I'm bouncing back, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
I was driving it yesterday, so much so that I set my clock for 6:15. Usually get up, let the dogs out, get myself ready to go work out. So 6:15, let the dogs out, lay back down, said I'm going to get up in 10 minutes. Well, when I got up, it was 7:30. So I missed my workout.
Oh.
Yeah, so yesterday was my struggle day.
That's all right.
So
Look,
today I'm good.
We're
ready
here.
to go.
We're here to pick each other up.
Absolutely.
We're here to make sure that we're all good, and things will be fine.
There we go.
Things will be great. Willie D getting settled in, got the Mets
Yes.
hat on.
What's up, boys?
Hey, how'd your Mets do yesterday, man?
Not good.
Kind of figured that.
Caught a break, though. The Nationals beat the Braves, which somehow. What is going on with Sonny?
I
Come on, Sonny.
I don't know.
Y'all two teams just don't want to take. It's like, okay, y'all got an opportunity to take a hold, and then it's just like, okay, nah, I really don't want to.
No,
I
because
want to wait until like
it's
the
gonna come
series
to-
at the end.
Sure. I mean, it's going to come down to that.
Yeah.
And which will be great baseball, and then basically be a postseason playoff type series. But that's what's going to happen. It's going to come down to that series at the end.
Yeah, pretty much so. So it's going to be. I know you two will love it. I wouldn't even have to look at the scoreboard. I can just judge by by your demeanors who won.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't even have to look at the scoreboard of the Braves and the Mets. Whoever walks in jovial with a big smile on their face, that's who won the series. So I'm gonna test that theory out. I'm not gonna watch the games. I'm just gonna come in here because the series. Is it next weekend?
Not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I'll make sure I don't watch it next week. Just come in Monday and see who's
Oh,
happy.
man. The picture will be worth 1,000 words right there when you see the look on our faces. Now there'll still be 3 games left at that, so it won't be totally decided, but you definitely feel like that series is going to be.
It'll have a good bearing.
Yeah, pretty much so.
For sure. 615-737-1025. That is our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You can always jump in on that and weigh in on what we're getting into today. Obviously, a lot of Titans conversation continuing. I don't know if you guys saw the picture that is circulating on the Twitters of Taylor Lewan with a sleeve on his knee. Looks like he was headed to L.A. potentially for another opinion on the knee, but still don't think it's looking good for Taylor Lewan.
No, when you have to, when your team's practicing and you have to get on a plane to travel to see another doctor, get a second opinion, that's not good. Typically, if it's nothing bad, then you go with what the doctor said here, and you sort of rehab it. And if you don't need surgery, you rehab it, and hopefully that can put you on track to be back before the season ends. But when you have to go get a second opinion, that's never – I mean, it's not as good as one would think. But, hopefully when he goes out there and gets a second opinion, it's a situation where if he does, it's minor. If he does have to have surgery, it's not, maybe it's a meniscus. Get it done and possibly.
I mean, that would be best case scenario.
Yeah,
if that's
possibly be back for the end of the season. So, because they're going to need him.
They're going to need a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you said it best yesterday, Willie, when you were quoting Floyd. If I got one position group I got to worry about, I'm good with that. If I got multiple, then I'm in trouble.
Yes, and I think that looks like it's unfolding. They're scrambling in the secondary right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're scrambling on the offensive line. So that's at least 2. And so we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed that they get some good news on Lewan. We're speculating, I guess, right, that he's going to see another doctor, a specialist.
Sure.
Is there one in L.A. that's known? I mean, they said
sure.
L.A. Whoever it was that saw him in the airport, I'm trusting that person is right.
It's either two things, Willie. Either he's going to have surgery, which if he was, they would have said it, or he's going for a second opinion. He's just not flying out to L.A. just for, I don't know, some popcorn or
This
or
isn't,
soda.
go see the Dodgers
this isn't
play.
a Veterans Day off.
This isn't a Veterans Day off. This isn't Tuesday where he's like, man, I got to go and run to L.A.
No, I get it. I'm just
do
saying
something
when
and come
somebody
back.
just sends a picture
And
says they're going to L.A., we have to trust that that's right. I wasn't at the airport. I didn't see him get on a plane. I don't know.
Do we know that was Taylor? His back was turned to
He
us.
looked a lot like him, yeah. And he had a sleeve on the knee.
That was actually Phil, his brother.
Phil Lewan. Who's Phil been playing for, by the way? What team does he play for?
Phil's a lacrosse player.
Yeah.
That's what Phil does.
He's got good size for a lacrosse player.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at
or
all.
rugby. You never know.
Rugby, yeah, that probably would have been better.
Yeah. Yep. So hopefully, what Taylor's going out there for. Hopefully.
David says he was going. He was going to L.A., Lower Alabama.
There you go.
Or, lax. That's lacrosse is known as lax.
Hold on. I want to know. Okay, here's the deal. We see him. We don't. Whoever this person is, we assume it's Taylor and not his brother Phil.
The lacrosse player.
Yeah, the lacrosse or rugby player. We see him walking through. It seems like it's through the airport. It doesn't seem like he's stopping at a gate or anything. How did that person know that he was headed to L.A.?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm trying to figure
We're putting
out.
a lot of
how did
stock
that
in this
person
thing.
know? Or did they ask him? Were they being nosy? Because
that's these are all valid points.
You're infringing on my privacy. Don't come up to me or don't be trying to sneak and see my boarding pass and see where I'm headed.
Right. That's why I say we should pause
Phil,
before we jump to all the conclusions.
What boarding group do you have? You A. I'm A. I'm 36.
Where you going?
What are you?
Okay.
Save me a seat.
That's probably that's
man.
what it was. Trying to compare boarding passes.
There you go.
But
That's
you know
how
what
I
I'm saying? We've people on shows like ours have been burned plenty of times by jumped into conclusions about something that somebody puts on social media.
The socials.
We look.
I remember last time there was somebody that speculated that John Hines had a 7-year deal or whatever it was that he had signed, and that was really not the case, but it didn't keep people on
Willie,
talk radio from speculating.
No one on this station speculates and overreacts to anything. What are you talking about? Stillman and Company coming up at 2 o'clock
Coming up
today.
at 2 o'clock.
But look, and we talked about this yesterday. The thing that concerns me in the injury report came out. The Titans released it yesterday, and it's longer than my arm. They did a walkthrough. So this is kind of funny how they do this now. They do an estimation. So if they would have actually practiced, what this would have been the status. But Ugo Amadi, Bud Dupree, Jamarco Jones, Taylor Lewan did not practice. Ola Adeni, Danico Autry, Traylon Burks, Christian Fulton, Dontrell Hilliard, Joe Jones, Kyle Phillips were all limited.
I'm trying to figure. Okay, I get it. Why is Traylon Burks limited?
He's listed as an ankle.
Oh, okay.
Danico Autry, non-injury related. So I don't know.
You
if
don't know
was
what
like a
that
veteran.
is. Yeah, I mean, right now, it's all hands on deck, and if you can go, You can go and limited probably means, well, I know what it means. So he probably did warm-ups, did some individual drills, and may have done a 7-on-7, but after a while they just shut him down because of, the ankle. So hopefully he will be ready to go full strength because they're going to need him. I've thought about this. After the show last night, they have no playmakers. No. I mean, minus Derrick Henry, and he's not even a playmaker right now because of the offensive line. They have none on offense.
That's a problem.
And I'm going to repeat that. They have none. One more time. They have none. Is that 3?
That's 3.
That's 3, okay. Playmakers. At this juncture, with 2 games into the season, we can't point at one guy, one position on offense that we think at this point that, man, this can turn our team around. The offensive line, they're not playing well. The receivers can't get separation. The running back can't get started because of the offensive line.
Right.
And a quarterback can't throw down the field because of the offensive line. So we have no potential for playmaking ability because of the offensive line. It's like a car. Beautiful car on the outside, leather seats, heated seats and everything, but the engine's busted. So what? You can't go anywhere.
Bad transmission.
You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. That's the Tennessee Titans at this, with 2 games into the season, heading into the third. The engine of this car is bad, and it needs to get fixed if they want to get to work each and every day.
Speaking of the heated seats, you guys like heated seats?
Yeah, I do.
I do.
Yeah.
Erin, my wife, she loves the heated seat even in the summer. She just wants even if it's 100 degrees out there.
I can't do that.
If I get in her car and I jump in there, I'm like, what's going on with the AC? Is the AC's working? And I always remember the heated. She's got the heated seat.
The
on.
only time I'll do that, not in the winter, is if my back's hurting.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Loosen up the back a little bit.
That's certainly
like
helps.
in the winter, it's got to stay on. It's a key. Like that's a huge feature. That gets you
nice,
gets you
and
going.
cozy. Yeah.
615-737-1025. We'll talk to Corey Curtis at 11 o'clock. Get his thoughts on the Titans. Silly underdog picks at noon. Bob Kessling, voice of the Vol, is going to join us at 1 o'clock today. They get ready to take on the Florida Gators.
And hoping for a Predators interview, a player at 11:30. That's
cool.
Keep your fingers crossed on that. We like our chances, but they're going through the physical testing today. It might be somebody out of breath that just came off of the exercise bike or whatever, but
it's all right.
Hopefully we'll get them.
That'll be good. But coming up next, ESPN, Bill Barnwell, somebody we've talked to a lot over the years, went through the list of 0-2 teams and kind of where their chances are for turning things around. The Titans, not sure the outlook looks good, according to him. We'll get into that next. Take your calls and texts as well. But first, D-Mase. You have a word on BetUS.
Absolutely. Today, I hope you get your bets in because Thursday night football is upon us, some hours away. And what better way to get your bets in than with BetUS.com, which is back for their 28th year of NFL action with the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to, people, let me say, and I'm going to tell you, 200%. BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. They've got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the table. If you need a sport book with integrity and longevity, you need to know that you will get paid. Definitely that. You need a sport book that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horse racing, esports, yes, video games, people, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today at 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up your account. Nobody in the industry, and I repeat, no one gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now and mention the best radio show in town, sports radio show in town, 1025, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody Again, nobody beats that. Head to betus.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the games begin.
Silly Underdog Picks is back. Get your friends and sign up today at theGameNashville.com. Pick the 3 football underdog teams each week you think will win for a chance to win weekly prizes. Like a pair of tickets to a sporting event or to a concert in Nashville. Go to theGameNashville.com or the Game Nashville app and sign up and play now. Then tune in every Thursday at noon for our expert picks. Silly Underdogs is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket.
Majestic in its scope, dazzling in its sound, there is nothing to match the experience of hearing, live in concert, The Planets. Experience the ultimate trip through the galaxy. Hear The Planets as Giancarlo Guerrero and the Nashville Symphony perform Gustav Holst's sonic celestial showpiece. Also, Tchaikovsky's virtuosic violin concerto with Augustine Hadelich. Tickets begin at $29. Call 615-687-6400 or order at NashvilleSymphony.org. September 29th, 30th, and October 1st and 2nd at Schermerhorn Symphony Center. The Planets with the Nashville Symphony.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
The game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the game at 615-737-1025.
MTSU football welcomes Tennessee Titan Kevin Byard back home to Floyd Stadium Friday, September 30th as they host UTSA Roadrunners under the lights. Blue Raider great Kevin Byard will become only the second MTSU football player to have his jersey retired. Kickoff is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. Friday, September 30th. Make sure to grab your seat today. To purchase tickets, visit goblueraiders.com/tickets. Middle Tennessee, we are Blue Knighted.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are streaming on the Game Nashville app. You can also watch us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. It's all presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We're broadcasting live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios, 615-737-1025. That is our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
I am kind of the low rider, right? Because the microphone, if you're watching on the Twitch or Twitter, the mic, we talked about this mic, right? It doesn't keep the height, right?
No,
We've made a lot of wisecracks about this mic. So what you do is you lower your seat.
We're working on it.
You lower your seat a little bit. So I'm the low rider.
You are the low rider. Yeah, we're working on it. If you're watching on the stream, you can kind of see.
You can kind of see that I'm the low rider. And I did see the group War randomly perform this song at an Arizona Diamondbacks game. I was doing the Nashville Cats. I said, Diamondbacks are in town. The big unit, Randy Johnson, was pitching. I went, had a great time. And bonus, War was playing after it was a post-game concert. Stuck around, saw him perform this song, Why Can't We Be Friends? Spill the Wine. Great band right there.
Yeah,
War.
no, I like that.
But
Don't spill the wine.
This is a fan favorite, though.
Yeah.
The low rider.
Well,
crowd went wild.
We had the jazz band in high school, and they would always play it at football games.
So that is a good high school band song, The Low Rider.
It's an easy one.
Yeah.
615-737-1025. Larry wants to weigh in on the Titans O-line. Larry, welcome in.
You there, guys?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, we're ready to go.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate you taking my call. I love your show. Listen to it to work on the way to work every day. Just an observation, and Derek can answer to it better than I can because I never played professional football. But when we had guys like Conklin and Sembralo and Kelly, those guys were just nasty road graders that took it personal to just create a gap for Henry to run through. And kind of the same thing in the secondary. It seems like when we play a zone that we see the football, but we watch guys catch it, and nobody just is nasty enough to go say, I'm going to dislodge the football from this guy and break him in half. And I think it's more of a mentality that we don't have to be successful in there, that we don't have that kind of personality in those guys. I'll hang up and listen to your response.
Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. This is I believe this Titans team is a physical team. I would never sit here and say, this team, the way they've assembled this team is not a physical team. I think Vrabel brands himself on, teaching physicality, discipline, attention to detail, and playing for one another. This roster's just not good. It's not as good as they thought it was going to be before camps started. I'm talking about, right after the draft. They thought they had a roster that, could compete for a Super Bowl. They may still think that, but as we've now seen, this roster lacks depth and it lacks playmakers. So
you can't really fix that now.
It's hard to fix it now. You're in the season and teams are set, and there's nobody on the waiver wires or on somebody else's practice squad that's going to drastically change your team. But I would never sit here, especially after 2 games, and say this team's not physical. They're a physical team and whatnot, but you can be as physical as you want to be. But if your roster's just not good enough, then that is going to overtake any physicality that you have. They have to play damn near flawless football for them to win moving forward, because the lack of depth on this team and the lack of playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, and really the defensive side of the ball now that guys are going down.
What the caller is kind of getting at too is that identity, that this is really where that gets tested. Mm-hmm. I do think Mike Vrabel has built a great culture, and I think they were really relying on that when they made the bold decisions that they made to trade A.J. Brown and roll with what they did. And I think they had to know they were risking exactly what's happened here, that Derrick Henry is not on track, and they don't have the playmaker that can loosen things up and make things easier for the offense, get you some cheap points. It looks like it's going to be an issue for a while. So you're hoping that culture, that identity, the physicality, all of that stuff can get you through while you figure some of this stuff out. But unfortunately, it's hit kind of an urgency point. I wouldn't say crisis yet at 0-2, but you got a serious urgency issue after just 2 games. So this is where you get tested. I have a lot of faith in Mike Vrabel, but he is definitely playing with a deck that is not, I don't think he's sitting there with a full house.
This ain't a loaded deck.
No.
Yeah. No, whatsoever.
I mean, that's what worries you.
And here's an interesting stat. So I was reading, Bill Barnwell, as I mentioned, has an article on ESPN Plus talking about the 0-2 teams and what that means moving forward for them. He points out since 2002, 98 teams have started 0-3. One of those teams, the 2018 Texans, made it to the playoffs. The 2013 Steelers would have joined them if the league had 14 playoff teams at the time. So going 0-3 is basically hopeless, and 0-2 doesn't feel great either. Since 2022, or since I think 2002 is what he meant, 9.6% of the teams that started 0-2 have made it to the postseason.
Well, I get the stat, and I'm not going to try to sit here and dispute the stat, but they've added an extra game. They've added another team to the playoff. And this division, as it sits, is not a good division. So, the 0-2 thing, I'm going to throw that out the window. Really, the 0-3, I'm going to throw it out the window because they would not have played a division game. So you're 0-3. If you're going to lose 3 in a row early, let them be outside your division.
I completely agree with that assessment. I think people see that stat and panic, but there are circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long, long time, because I've heard the one that everybody throws out there, since the merger. Well, since the merger, that's first of all, that's 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And in the early days of the merger, you only played 14 games. So if you're 0-3 after 14 games, it's a lot harder to come back. You play 17 games now.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in those 3 extra games. And as you said, when the merger started, there was only 1 wild card. Only 4 teams made the playoffs out of each conference. So it was harder to make the playoffs. You could win 9 games out of 14 and still miss the playoffs.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You could be 9-5 and miss the playoffs. Now with extra games, extra teams to get in, the odds go up. I'm not saying everything's rosy. Nothing's rosy if you're 0-3.
Mm-mm.
But to write a team off, especially like you said, Derek, in this division, there's circumstances around it. I would not worry about that number right now. Just worry about getting your stuff right.
Of the 5 0-2 teams, which are the Bengals, Falcons, Panthers, Raiders, Titans, which team do you think has the best chance to turn things around and get to the playoffs? For me, it's the Bengals coming off of last year.
I worry about the Bengals because of the division, Derek. I think there's more teams in that division that'll make it tough.
Yeah, that division, it might be the second best division in the AFC. Obviously, the AFC West, I think, is the toughest division, and then the North, I believe. The AFC East is right there, but then AFC South is at the bottom. So, of all the 0-2 or 0-3 potential 0-3 teams, well, there won't be no 0-3 when it comes to the Titans and the Raiders because one of them will get a win. But of the 0-2 teams right now, I think it is the Titans. I think the Titans have the best opportunity, not necessarily because this is some great roster, but because of the division.
Yeah.
Because you look at the Raiders, 0-2 is bad for them in their division. Cincinnati is bad for them in their division. Who else is the 0-3 beside the Titans?
0-2. The Falcons, the Panthers.
Yeah, the Falcons, I can't see them.
It's Bengals, Falcons, Panthers, Raiders, Titans.
Yeah, Falcons and Panthers are in the same division.
Yeah.
So, to me, that's Tampa's winning that division. I got Tampa winning that division.
But the NFC, you would argue that whoever the third wild card is probably isn't going to have a great record. So you could you climb out off the deck from 0-3 and get to 9-8 and slide in as the third wild card? Maybe in the NFC you could.
I think so.
Those teams have got to worry about being good teams. That's, to me, that's the big story. Is I wouldn't worry about how many games you're behind or things like that. It's, are you a good team? Somebody is going to walk out of Nashville 0-3 unless there's one of these ties, which are more likely these days because of the 10-minute overtime. And the league's got to figure that out.
So much.
Well, just go to 15 minutes. You wouldn't have a tie. Just have a 15-minute overtime. Like
ties should not
be a
happen.
tie.
There should never be a tie in professional sports.
If you went from 10 to 15 minutes, I guarantee you would have maybe one tie every 2 or 3 years. That's what it used to be.
That's one too many. But I would like that better.
I mean,
than
at some
what
point
it is
you
now.
can't play all day in the regular season. It's not good for the
then
players.
Go to kicks or something. I don't care.
Set it up like college football.
I'd rather have a tie than lose the game on some.
No, set it up like college football. I mean, you
do it like that.
Yeah, after if you've went through the first 10 minutes and there's no winner. Well, now set it up like college football. You get it from the 35, and now you go no field goals.
Do the stats count?
No field goals. Of course, the stat counts.
Okay, so if a guy breaks the record on a game that goes 5 overtimes,
you just break it as a part of football.
Okay,
because you would have
to like put that in the in the rule book.
You know what I would
but
love?
you don't say that in baseball, do you? When they go like 20 innings.
No, you don't.
Or basketball.
No,
you don't have ties in baseball. You don't have ties in basketball. You don't have ties
in hockey.
So
anymore.
why have ties in football? I don't understand that.
I agree.
Yeah, I get it.
This is not soccer. I know you have draws in soccer, but I hate that too. Yeah. Like I don't like ties.
But somebody's going to walk out of here 0-3, and I still think the expectations for the Raiders or the Titans will still be, hey, we can climb out of this hole. We can find a way to get to the playoffs. It's going to be harder
for the Raiders.
It'll be harder for
the Raiders playing a much tougher to do.
Yeah. Coming up next, there's some news about the Predators. Somebody has returned. We will tell you exactly what that means coming up next. But first, Willie, tell us about Loan Pronto.
All right, let's talk about Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto has some really good financial solutions, strategies for you if you're in need of cash. Hey, look, maybe you've got a kid going through college. Maybe you've got a big car loan. Maybe you've got some credit card bills that because of the higher cost of living that we went through over the summer, gas prices were out of control. Hey, if you've got issues and you need cash, Loan Pronto has the strategy for you. It's called the zero-cost cash-out home refi. Your home's value is up. There's a lot of cash that you can get to in a matter of just a few weeks. So you can pay off all those credit cards, consolidate everything into one super low payment, and get that credit card rate down to zero or pay off that bill in full, and boom, you don't have to worry about it. And here's the thing. If your mortgage rate goes up a little bit, it's offset by the fact that you get that credit card bill to zero, or you pay that bill. And when the rates do come back down, and they will, Loan Pronto will refinance you again for free. So don't wait. Call Loan Pronto right now. Do it right now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. 615-499-5780. Or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
It's coming. A beast is about to awaken. After a long off-season, Smashville is alive. The Nashville Predators have tweaked their roster and are ready to chase Lord Stanley's Cup once again.
The backhander, he scores!
Keep it locked to Smashville's best training camp coverage on your home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
312 Pizza Company is the official sponsor and location of Southeastern Carolines with Caroline Fenton.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 615-457-8700. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, and Gallatin. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Crane Works, Rental Works, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Crane Works is ready to help lift Nashville. As the Southeast's most trusted name in crane and equipment rental for over 30 years, Crane Works offers certified operators to make sure the job is done right. Rental Works has a diverse fleet of equipment to assist in any project, big or small. From forklifts to carry deck cranes, they have it all. When it's time for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project, call Crane Works. Visit craneworks.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. Some companies might
5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue a 6-game series tonight at the Louisville Bats. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win. Pre-game at 5:20.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Sean Henry. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Thank you, Sean. Back here at 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Chase McCabe, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. Excited tomorrow. We'll be broadcasting at Centennial Sportsplex for Predators training camp as they open the preseason on Monday with a doubleheader against the Florida Panthers, a team that I think is going to be pretty darn good this year with some of the moves that they've made. And obviously we're already a pretty good team, but the Predators are announcing today that somebody has returned. He's not playing, but Pekka Rinne has rejoined the Predators organization as a special alumni advisor. And what that means is, as David Poyle explained it, he will learn and observe alongside Predators goaltending coach Ben Vanderklok and goaltending development coach Dave Rook in their efforts with the team's goalie prospects in Nashville, Milwaukee, and overseas. Additionally, he will participate in alumni activities throughout Nashville and the Middle Tennessee area and continue to serve as an ambassador and representative for the Nashville Predators Foundation, empowered by Smile Direct Club. So good to see Pekka getting back in the organization in some capacity. Not surprising, though. I mean, we kind of figured this was going to happen eventually.
I always in my talks with Pekka, he did, when he was looking into the future, said he would love to spend some time over here and not just go back to Finland forever. It's really interesting. There is no better ambassador for the Predators other than maybe Terry Crisp, right? Crispy is still the guy that sets the bar. But Pekka will be such a great asset to be able to talk to people, connect with people. It's legendary what he's done with the 365 fund and things like that. I mean, he's got amazing powers in that area. But what's interesting too is it looks like he'd like to groom himself on how to coach.
Yeah.
Sometimes the great players are not great coaches naturally, right? You have to learn how to teach, right? Sometimes things that came real easy to you are not easy for you to teach others. Like you could put the long list together. We can always go through it, how some of the great players were really not successful coaches at all.
Or you don't understand why, as a former player or great player, you don't understand why can't you get it? Like,
right.
I got it.
Yeah.
Why can't you get it? And sometimes, people just learn differently, and some guys just are not going to get it.
What's funny is, and this is a completely different level, but something that I've had to learn in the last few years, and then especially the last year as I moved into a management role, is there are so many things that I know how to do, and I just know how to do it. And like, it's hard for me to teach or explain, like, no, this is how you do it, but I have to because I can't do everything. And,
just watch me, okay?
Right. Well, yeah,
me.
and then it's there's a little bit of, F you, Joe Boo, I do it myself that comes up. But, I'm like, I get it. And so, but I always kind of figured Pekka was going to dip his toe in the coaching water. I mean, I thought Mike Fisher would too, and I saw Mike Fisher at Brent Peterson's golf tournament. We were catching up, and, I even asked him, hey, are you bored yet? And he goes, nope, chasing the kids around, hunting, having a good time. And so
everybody's different.
Yeah, I mean,
it's never boring early on.
No,
I
mean, like for you, when I first got to know you and you started working at the station, you were helping out at Innsworth, and liking it. And I think for you, that was a good opportunity to kind of see if that's something that you wanted to do. And DJ was playing, so that certainly helped.
But after that, I was like, nah.
Yeah. And I think for you being the competitor that you were, it probably was a little bit of what Willie was talking about, of like, what are you doing?
and then you have the other side of sometimes it's, the lesser players make the great coaches, like Jack Black says in School of Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Those that don't do, teach.
Yep.
And those that can't teach Jim.
Yes.
Remember he tells the guy,
Yep.
he goes, I'm just kidding you. I'm just kidding you.
Well, it's funny.
Teacher that.
If you look at the three head coaches in Predators history, I mean, all three didn't really play much in the end. I mean, did Barry Trotz ever play in the NHL?
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Peter Laviolette, I think, played like 5 games.
7 games, I think, yeah.
And John Hines, I don't think did. So
No, played college, but not.
Yeah.
There's
So-
a lot of guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of know your path. I mean, obviously they've had assistant coaches that, Phil Housley's a Hall of Fame
and I
player,
think you need
Brent
those
Peterson.
perspectives, right? You need the different
Sure.
perspectives help you get across what you need to different players, because different players respond to different styles of teaching.
Yeah, no doubt. But I think Pekka can do whatever he wants to do. I mean, I just think he's smart enough, he's dedicated enough, and so if he wants to jump into coaching or scouting and how I read this of this position, it's going to kind of allow him to see maybe what he wants to do down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great move.
It's a no-brainer by the organization. It's a great move. Yeah.
Tough news out of Philly that Chuck Fletcher, the GM of the Flyers, saying looks like Ryan Ellis will not play at all this year, and he may be done with the injuries that he played 4 games last year for the Flyers after being traded from Nashville. So really tough because we all liked Ryan Ellis, good player. It was a good move to go ahead and move on. I think as David Poile went through the competitive rebuild, as he put it, but you don't want to see it end like that for Ryan Ellis if it is in fact the end.
There's no question about that. I when he was traded, that I really thought that he was a guy that I admired as much as any Predator. The work ethic, getting the most out of your ability, the dedication to the team, the wanting to be here long term. And I was really heartbroken for him when they traded him. But I completely understood the stage of the career he was in. This is the conversation we have a lot about Derrick Henry. The wear and tear on Ryan Ellis's body was becoming apparent, and he was under contract for a long time, and they made the move to deal the contract before it really became a burden, which is a tough reality when you sign players to 8-year deals. The last half of that contract could be an issue a lot of the time, and you have to gauge who do you think can sustain it and who do you think can be around for a full 8 years, and who is it time to move on from? We talked about it yesterday with PK Subban. David Poile, his hunch was right to move PK Subban's salary at the time, use that money on Matt Duchene, paid off. They moved on from Ryan Ellis. They cleared up salary space. Who knows? We'll see if Cody Glass still ends up being an asset for them. Phil Myers was not, but of course they used Phil Myers somehow to get Ryan McDonough. So we'll see how this moves on. But first and foremost, you feel for Ryan Ellis because it's not like he's not trying to get back. He has been working extremely hard since the beginning of last season to try to get healthy, and it's just not happening for him. That's tough news.
Coming up next, interesting story out of the Czech Republic that could affect the Predators. We'll discuss that coming up next here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus, finally done with record heat after back-to-back days of breaking high-temperature records today. The first day of fall and feeling like it. Lower 80s and lower humidity into the afternoon. A few clouds on and off, but relatively a nice day.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
The Nashville Oktoberfest is quickly approaching, and now's the time to get your dirndls, lederhosen, and party steins ready. From local breweries to live music and festival artisans, you can't go wrong celebrating this Germantown tradition. The Nashville Oktoberfest 2022, Thursday, October 6th through the 9th at Bicentennial Mall in Germantown. Prepare yourself for 4 days of brats, beer, live music, and competitions. VIP experience reservations are still available at thenashvilleoktoberfest.com. Prost, y'all!
Hey guys, Jeremy here, General Manager at Blend Bar with Davidoff Cigars. We are the go-to spot in Nashville for the best old-fashioned, a nice relaxing cigar, and lots of high-end spirits and wine. Are cigars not your thing? No problem. We have the best ventilation system in the industry that provides a fresh, clean atmosphere for you and your friends. We are here to provide you a trendy, upscale experience in the heart of downtown. Check us out at 508 Church Street. Blend Bar with Davidoff Cigars. Luxury redefined.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event this weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, are showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
Everyone loves Tacori, meticulously crafted by master artisans in their California design studio. Discover the hidden details and exceptional quality that sets Tacori apart. There's always more than meets the eye with Tacori. Come explore the entire Tacori collection, including all new Tacori fine jewelry, earrings, bracelets, eternity bands, pendants, and more.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Come join us and take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. This Friday through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Injuries on the job can be devastating to both employees and employers. Your employees are in pain, may lose wages, and want to get back to work. Your business has lost a worker and may not meet goals and profits. Houston Clinic Orthopedics offers an extensive workers' compensation program to your business and your employees. They will work with you from start to finish, managing everything from appointment scheduling through reimbursement. For more details, call Houston Clinic Orthopedics at 1-800-323-8858.
Robbie Stanley.
They get a lead in that game and just totally close the door.
Joe Rexrode.
If he plays next year, it's disastrous.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We'll have Ask D-Mase tomorrow at 12:30, and, you know, we were just giving life advice during the break. You definitely want to call and ask Derek some life advice. that could be good. I do all the time.
Oh, man.
For sure. But Predators opening training camp. They're doing some testing. We do have a guest at 11:30, right, Willie?
We do. Big Sexy. Michael McCarron is going to join us. We'll see how he did on his testing today.
That'll be good.
But he's going to be battling for a spot. He brings a lot to the table in a lot of areas. I think he'll be in the mix, but I think it's fair to say he's going to have to compete to play as much as he did last year. He had some really good stretches last season. Got some size.
I need to stretch. That would help me.
Yeah. Oh, stretching's good.
Yeah.
Maybe some yoga, hot yoga.
Yeah, hot yoga.
But Michael McCarron will join us at 11:30. Great personality, so we'll sort of set the tone for the upcoming days of training camp, which we will be at tomorrow.
We will be there tomorrow at Centennial. Interesting story out of the Czech Republic. So the Predators are scheduled to start their season in Prague, as we know, but the Czech government has reportedly told the NHL that Russian players are unwanted in Prague. And how that affects the Predators, obviously Yakov Trenin is from Russia, and basically they're saying that, you know, the Sharks and the Predators can't bring any of their Russian players to Prague to start the season. No, there's no word on if the NHL has responded to this yet, but this is basically coming from the Czech Foreign Ministry, and this is all stemming from Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
That I know it's a very, very sensitive subject. I know it is. So, the NHL got to figure out, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah.
But my thing is, these individuals,
Yakov Trenin did not invade.
He has
Ukraine.
nothing. He has nothing to do with this. It's not his fault that his government decided to invade another country for whatever reason. We don't know the reasons. So for whatever reason they decide to invade, it's not his fault. He has nothing to do with it. He has no say in governmental affairs. So why punish the player? Because, he wants to go with this team to play. If I'm the NHL, I'm saying, listen, I understand what you're saying. We get it. We respect it. But we're not coming. If you don't allow our players to come, it's just like back in the 60s, in the 50s. Yeah. If you don't allow my black player to stay at your hotel or this and that, well, we're not staying.
Right.
I don't know if they actually did that, but I'm just saying, we're not staying. Just like now, if you don't allow, say if someone was gay on our team, if you don't allow him or you treating him or her wrong, we're not staying. Yeah. We're not going to play in your arena. We're walking.
Sure. Here's the thing. Why now? We've known that this has been the Russian-Ukraine thing has been going on for a while. So why is this just now being a thing 2 weeks before they're supposed to leave?
I don't have the answer to that. In the article on ESPN, I believe Dominik Hasek is at the forefront of this, a great Czech goaltender. Mm-hmm. The thing that's different, because Derek, you make a really good point, and I think if I were in the foxhole with Yakov Trenin, a guy that and the Sharks have one significant Russian player also, Evgeny Svechnikov, who's the older brother of Andre, who was a much more gifted player. He's not a great player, right, Evgeny, but he is probably going to be on the team. So there's a sense from a team, you're a team. If you're not cool with our whole team coming over there, then we don't want to go. I do think that's a sentiment. The sticky part, I think, for the league is very sympathetic to the Ukraine. Mm-hmm. If you remember last year, there were a lot of nights where there was a lot of Ukraine pride. They sang the national anthem from the Ukraine. They took some events away from Russia, some international events. Obviously, the Russian players are a huge part of the NHL, and the Russian players were put in a really, really tough spot. I commend all of them for how they kind of handled themselves. They were all in really tough spots because deep down, you don't know how they feel. A lot of them might feel like, why are we doing this? Why is my country doing this? I may not be on board, but they couldn't say anything. No matter what they said, somebody is not going to be real happy with it. And so all you could try to do as an organization was try to support those players, make sure, because sometimes their families are back in Russia, right? We know that could be a sticky situation.
They got to be careful.
Got to be very careful. So this is not ideal at all. So this is, from what I'm told, this is all in the league's hands right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Sharks or the Predators even have a say in this at this point. The league has got to try to maneuver through this and hope that they can solve it. I don't know where it's going to go from here, honestly.
But my thing is, if as players, regardless of the league, as players, there should be a vote, however you want to make it, a silent vote or whatever it is. And I'm sure that every player on that team, if the vote was, hey, listen, we go and leave our fellow mate behind, or none of us go, I would guarantee you all of them will say, we're not going.
Sure.
I would not be surprised if that were true.
And the NHL should honor that and say, hey, listen, it was up to our players and our coaches. They said they didn't want to go, so they don't go. We're not going to press them to go, because if they go, they leave this behind. What if another humanitarian issue shows up? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we ain't going over there. And now these players are looking at oh, y'all don't want to go now, but y'all went when they didn't want me to come? What's the deal? So, yes, this is a sticky subject, but to clear it up, just don't go. Say, listen, we respect what y'all saying. We understand it. It's sticky. But as a team, we're not going to go because we are standing behind our player.
Yeah. And I think anybody would respect that, Derek, if that's what they did. You do want to be cognizant of if there's some sort of safety issue for the players, if they end up saying, hey, well, they're going to go no matter what, you want to watch out for that.
That's
make sure that they're good.
Something to think about. Yeah.
But could the Predators survive a couple games without Yakov Trenin? Sure, but
same thing with the Sharks.
Same thing with the Sharks, but it's still not right because at the end of the day, even though they're Russian-born, like it wasn't their decision, and so it's kind of like, maybe this is a bad analogy, but this is the best one I can come up with. It's kind of like if a college team got caught for an NCAA violation and they strip all the wins away and strip a championship away. Most of the guys on that team, weren't Reggie Bush, and so like, why are they getting punished? They didn't do it just because they were on the team, and so that's kind of what this feels like.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. The thing is, the NHL has really publicly supported the Ukraine, and the Czech is aligned. They're trying to back Ukraine here with what they're doing here, and so I think the NHL's next phone call, you would probably say, "Look, we're on your side here. Like this is." We're with you.
You just don't go.
We're talking about that's.
Because
I
then
wonder.
It's
I don't know if it's going to get to that, but we'll see.
It's like, okay, if you go, that means you don't have your players back. If you don't go, it's just like, man, listen, we're not going. We're not going to get in the middle of all this. We're just going to stay at home. No matter what, we're going to stay at home. The NHL should have saw this they should have saw this in advance and canceled everything. And did it that way.
Yeah, I think this must have come out of this must have come as a surprise to the league.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah. I think so. Coming up next, we'll get to Corey Curtis from News 2. Get back into the Titans with him, and we will do that next here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase 102.5, 106.3. The Game.
You love the game.
Predators win it in overtime. Touchdown, Tennessee.
We live the game.
My quarterback needs me to step up.
He can make a defense pay.
We are.
We got pass rushers.
Checkered flag in the air.
Awesome Game 7.
What a stop made by UC Sarah.
The Game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
College football season is here. Finally, it's me, Caroline Fenton, and you already know that I am pumped up for college football season. And Southeastern Carolines, you know that 312 Pizza Company is my favorite place in town. 312 Pizza Company is a family-owned restaurant located in the heart of Germantown, serving up authentic Chicago-style eats right here in Music City. You can catch every down of the college football season at 312 Pizza Company. From week 1 to the national championship, 312 Pizza Company is your home for college football season.
Are you looking for Tennessee-grown and crafted THC, CBD, Delta 8, Delta 9 products? Then float on over to ounceofhope.com. On top of the widest selection of luxury edibles and smokables, their customer service team is high quality and prepared to help select the right cannabis product for your needs. Their knowledgeable team will have you flying high with a smile. That's ounceofhope.com, made locally in Memphis. Ounce of Hope is Memphis Flyers' best cannabis shop 2 years in a row. Legal THC delivered to your door. ounceofhope.com.
Men, are you asking yourself questions like, why am I gaining fat? Why is my energy or sex drive down and maybe haven't been getting the exercise you need? If you want to get back to the man you used to be but just don't have that youthful energy, that edge you once had, you very well might have low testosterone. Low T causes all kinds of issues, from a reduced libido, lower drive, and bad sleep patterns to problems with muscle gain, bone density, and more. It may even contribute to erectile dysfunction, and if this sounds like you, it's probably time to get treated for your low T. At the Tennessee Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've treated thousands of men for low T. We've seen them put on muscle, add to their energy, improve their sex lives, get better sleep, and just feel better. Plus, if you're like most men, you'll see results in only a few weeks. So make an appointment today and experience how testosterone therapy can truly change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. Call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments extra, results vary.
Nashville Generators presents Power Outage Prepping. What are you going to do the next time you lose power? You can rummage through your drawers for batteries, flashlights, or candles, or you can call Nashville Generators, 615-885-1124, 615-885-1124. Nashville Generators will install a whole house Generac generator that'll keep your lights on, pipes flowing, and Wi-Fi working, so you don't lose a thing. Don't let your family be displaced in the summer heat or freezing cold winters next time there's a power outage. Call the experts at Nashville Generators and be worry-free the next time bad weather comes to our area. Invest in a reliable system that automatically comes on to keep the pumps pumping, the kitchen cooking, and the family frolicking no matter what Mother Nature throws your way. Nashville Generators is the talk of the town. Go to NashvilleGenerators.com or call 615-885-1124 to start prepping now.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUZ HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 11 o'clock hour, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hope you're having a great Thursday so far. As we are moving right along here, we say hello to Corey Curtis, sports director at News 2. Corey, how you doing?
I am adequate today, fellas. How are you?
I like that, adequate. That is a good way to put it. That's how I'm feeling as well. How are the Titans, though? Are they going to be adequate when it comes to taking on the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday at Nissan Stadium? I'll start with Taylor Lewan. It's not looking very good for the Titans left tackle, and with the offensive line woes that they already have, how big of a blow is that?
Well, look, going into the season, when people ask me about this team and they ask me my biggest concerns, it was the offensive line. And, it was the offensive line of could it come together? Were the right tackle and left guard going to be good enough? Because we had to see who that was going to be. But then the other thing was, could Taylor Lewan and Ben Jones at this point in their career hold up for an entire season? I mean, those were concerns. And then the concern on top of that was the lack of depth and commitment to bringing in depth behind them. I mean, it didn't appear to be there. I know they brought in Jamarco Jones, but he's barely practiced since he's been here. And then, Dylan Radins was all but handed the right tackle job and couldn't win it. And still they haven't seemingly addressed what's behind it. And, we all tend to think the sky is falling when it's not. They adapt,
not
they
us.
overcome. And we saw it last year, where they went through 91 players. But, when you see what was a concern and you say, what if, all summer long, and all of a sudden you're in week 3 and what if is upon you, it's concerning.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, I think Mike Vrabel, if you have a chance at anything of turning this around, you have the best chance because you have Mike Vrabel as the head coach, the defending coach of the year. I just don't, and Derek's been saying this too, I just don't know if this team is deep enough for them to be able to do that like they did last year, because you're not going to find the depth that you need at this point in the season off the street.
Well, eventually failed draft picks come back to haunt you. And And the Isaiah Wilson pick and the Dylan Radunz pick, those are first and second round picks. Those guys not only should be, contributing, they should be starting, and they should be good players. They should be foundational pieces for you, really. And the fact that you don't even want to put them on the field, and one of them's not even in football anymore, that hurts because you can't pay everybody. You can't just go and buy a team full of free agents. That's not how it works because you can't afford everybody. And so, like I said, you did it last year with 91 guys, and you brought in guys, and you mix and you match, and you make it work. It doesn't always work like that. Now, we'll see what they can come up with because they're going to have to pull some rabbits out of some hats here to make it happen.
Corey, the question I want to ask you quickly before I get into my two major ones. Had this team beat Cincinnati last year, gotten to the AFC Championship game, won that, and they didn't even have to win the Super Bowl, do you think they would have been more aggressive at signing A.J. Brown than they were?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. Look, they didn't want to trade A.J. Brown. I mean, you could see the pains on their faces when they did it. I think the way negotiations went really rubbed them the wrong way. It wasn't. I don't think it was entirely about money. I think it was the way things went. When you come up in your price and then somebody comes back and comes up higher in their ask, that's not the way negotiations normally go. And I think that they were taken back by it, and bothered by it enough to say that we're going to move on and see what we can do. And we can argue all day whether it was the right decision or the wrong decision. I always say you don't get better by getting rid of good players, and A.J. Brown is obviously an excellent player. But he's not without warts. I mean, doesn't have the warts that a lot of people have, but he's got some concerns. But he's a fantastic player. When you started asking that question, I thought you were going to ask about Roger Saffold.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can say Roger Saffold too.
Would you find a way to bring him back? Because like when you were here, they kicked the can down the road until they got into an unsustainable portion with the cap because they kept pushing guys forward. And I don't think John wanted to get into that trap, and understandably so. But when you think you're knocking on the door, you have to do it. But John also comes, from New England, where you say goodbye to guys a year too soon rather than a year too late. And you saw, going into the season, we saw Saffold breaking down. You saw it Monday night; he went down. It seemed like every game, and like every game, Ben Jones went down. We know the injury situations Taylor Lewan has had, and I think they felt like they couldn't go in with all three of those guys possibly breaking down at the prices that they're paying them. So, I kind of knew I thought it was Lewan or Saffold who was going to go, and it's usually easier to replace a guard than a tackle. And I know that's not your question at all, but but the bigger question is do they try to kick the can down the road if they're closer to the Super Bowl? And I think it goes beyond that. I think if Tannehill plays better in that game and you win, I think you might feel like you're closer. But I still think you've got questions about, they may not say they do, but I do, if he's the guy who can get you through the playoffs.
Now, you talked about the offensive line depth, and we've been talking about that since training camp and them not being able to, well, they thought they addressed it, but then come to find out the guys that they drafted, they missed on them on the evaluation. But I can also, say that with the cornerback position, which was my question mark beside the offensive line because of the lack of experience. Even though Christian Fulton is a good player, but he lacks the experience. And then not only the experience, I mean, you drafting guys that, hadn't played and then you don't have any depth behind them. And it's coming, full circle for them with this cornerback position.
Well, they drafted Roger McCreary this year, and he's arguably their best one right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you felt good with McCreary and Fulton, but what do we know about Fulton as well? He's been injury prone in his 2 seasons. And here he's dinged again. And so I think when Screen retired, not that he was a blockbuster player, but you could put him out there and feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a blow to their depth. And, again, the thing about Caleb Farley is he just hasn't played that much football and at that position. And so there's going to be some learning curve. And so, you lose Screen and now you lose Fulton for we don't know how long. Suddenly you're put in a spot against arguably the best team in football where they're going to take advantage of everything that they can, and he's getting exposed a little bit. But yeah, I mean, they lost 2 guys who were supposed to help, and then Chris Jackson's been here for a few years, and he's been a guy who's been able to fill in, and he's injured all preseason, and now he's injured again in IR. So they're down 3 guys. All right, if you count Screen, they're down 3 of what was like their top 5, and so we're 3 weeks into the season, and you're already tapping the waiver wire trying to fill bodies. And, I don't know where we are on the way to 91, but I feel like we got a healthy head start.
The record's in jeopardy, you're saying. Yeah, that's a tough hand, no doubt. And you every day there's movement, grabbing somebody off of somebody. It seems like there's a lot more people being grabbed off of other people's practice squads to put on the Titans than vice versa, although they did lose a guy today and pick up another.
They've lost 2. And they lost 2 outside linebackers, which is a spot where they need people.
That's where they need.
They lost a Ninny, and then they lost Tack McKinley. One's with the Steelers now, one's with the Rams, and they're a little thin there.
Corey Curtis is with us. So, Corey, what do you think, what are the key matchups in your mind? Where do the Titans have a good matchup against the Raiders? Where can they maybe find some traction?
That's a great question.
Because that's what they need, right? We know the weaknesses for the Titans. They're all over the place. But what you need is, let's just start with what they want to do, right? Can they start doing their thing in the running game to get some things going offensively? It all starts. They've got to have Derrick Henry run the ball well if other things are going to fall into place.
Well, that's where I was going to go first. When you look at an offensive line and bringing an offensive line together, it's a lot easier to move forward than it is to move backwards, okay? And Mike Vrabel talked about it on Monday, that they need to get better at doing less things, all right? And what that means is we're not going to worry about the whole playbook. We're going to go back to our core of stuff, and we're going to do that well. And once we do that well, we'll expand on it. And so what have they done well in the past? They've run the football. Okay, and so, when you're trying to pass block a Max Crosby and a Chandler Jones, that's tough for anybody. That's tough for Taylor Lewan. It's tough for Nicholas Petit-Frere. But the best way that I've always said to handle a pass rusher is to run the football right at them. Put your pads in them and start pushing them backwards. And that's the direction offensive linemen like to go. So I think it benefits the Titans, and I think it benefits the offensive line, of course, Derrick Henry, if they focus this game on moving forward. And I think that's what they're going to do. They've also got to get some speed back. And Dontrell Hilliard, when his speed left the offense, I think it made a difference. And I don't know that he'll be back this week. But so I do look for them to try to run the ball at them. I also don't think that Raiders offensive line is outstanding. I mean, they've had their own whiffs in the draft in that department as well. The problem is for the Titans is, do you have the guys on the edges to take advantage of them? Because you don't have Harold Landry, and now you don't have Bud Dupree. Who knows for how long? I mean, that's over $30 million in players. I mean, just stack up the numbers here. You've got Harold Landry and Bud Dupree and Taylor Lewan all down. You're down like $45 million of your cap on 3 guys who are all hurt. It's really crippling and really devastating when you're looking at where you want to take advantage of, because these are guys that are supposed to be your core guys. So once again, you've got to look to Jeffrey Simmons and Danico Autry. And so I'm going to look for them to use Autry on the outside to try to find some good matchups for him while Simmons tries to blow up things on the interior and probably takes on 2 or 3 blockers at a time. And Waller's a good player, a really good player. The Titans have handled tight ends reasonably well in the past. We'll see if they can do that again. But I think the big thing is does Devontae Adams just absolutely torch them the way Stephon Diggs did? That's one of the things I'm watching first and foremost. How do the Titans handle Devontae Adams? Do they stick Roger McCreary on him, or do they just rotate along?
Real quick, Corey, before we let you go, do you think Josh Gordon is getting closer to being in the plans, or is he getting closer to them saying, "Look, he's not"?
Talking about this.
Well,
I knew that was coming.
Let's move on then. If he's not going to be in the plans, it's time to move on, right? That's what I'm saying. Is he closer to getting in, or closer to just moving on? This was a nice try.
Guys, do you know how many 1,000 years Josh Gordon has had?
He had one.
Yeah.
One. Do you know how many years ago that was?
Like 25.
It was 9. Maybe you were still playing. Okay?
But Corey,
you were still playing.
But Corey, I totally get that, right? Anybody who looks back to that year and has anything, that is ancient history. I agree. But this is a guy that averages about 17, 18 yards a catch, even as recently as the last time he played, right? It's a role, right? It's a guy.
How many catches are we talking about?
Well, his career he averages 17 yards a catch.
5 years. I mean, he couldn't do it in Kansas City with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Andy Reid's arguably the best offensive mind of the last 10 years, 15, 20 years.
So you're saying they should cut him?
Use him.
You're saying they should cut him?
I don't understand it, and I don't understand the infatuation with it. Because if he was that good and he was still that player, he would be out there being that player, and he wouldn't have been on a practice squad to begin with. Okay, so we keep wondering, can they catch lightning in a bottle? Can they have him find the fountain of middle age? No, because he's been trying to come back for years. People keep giving, and look, I don't hate Josh Gordon. I hope he goes out and catches 250 yards and 7 touchdowns on Sunday. I do, but I think to keep looking at this and hoping that this is the magic elixir for the Titans is ridiculous. It's absurd. I'd rather have Nick Westbrook-Akina out there. He caught 50 passes.
But you understand, though, Nick Westbrook-Akina, we know, is not a guy that is going to stretch the defense. Josh Gordon.
Gordon isn't either. He hasn't been in a decade.
That's not true. 2019, he had 16 yards a catch. That's not that
far
ago.
How many catches?
27.
How many catches
27.
Okay, you're talking about 1.1 catches per game.
I'm saying when he has played
3 years ago. How many years?
But okay, now we're down to 3 years. You said 10 years ago. Now we're down to 3 years ago.
You said 27 catches, Willie.
Yes.
27. That's 1.1 catches per game.
I'm just saying his skill set. His skill set is he can stretch the defense.
Bring in Will Fuller.
I was just about to say.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go down that route, Corey. It's just as bad as Josh Gordon. You bring that would be
5 years are a heck of a lot better.
I know, but you're gonna go down this. You're going down this road of injured guys, and eventually, it's going to be at the doorstep of John Robinson.
I agree with you completely. Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100% that you can't go down the doorstep of all these injured guys. My point is this. Mm-hmm. He is a more productive player.
You've seen it more. Yeah, I get that part.
Josh Gordon. That is my only point. We kept waiting all preseason and all training camp for them to bring in another veteran receiver. They did not do it. And so here we are again.
But they know some things now that they didn't know a few weeks ago.
What, they didn't know that injuries happen?
No, I think it's pretty certain they're in dire need of trying something at the wide receiver position.
They didn't know they needed help at receiver. They didn't know they needed help at offensive line. They didn't know they needed help in the secondary.
I don't know how
best
they
laid
didn't know
plans.
These things. That you have to know. I mean, look, when you see Jamarco Jones can't stay healthy, and when you see
he's on IR now.
The job. Yeah, when you see those guys can't win the jobs, eventually you just have to say, you can't just sit there and cover up a mistake. Eventually, it's like Isaiah Wilson. They owned up to that mistake, and they owned up to it quickly. And eventually, you just have to own up to a mistake and say, we got to have somebody in here who can help us win. And, maybe Dylan Radins magically winds up being that guy, but he had all summer to prove he could be that guy, and he hasn't done it. I mean, look, every GM has hits and misses, all right? Every one of them. And I've always tried to say that even through John Robinson's successes. I'm like, this is covering up some pretty monumental errors, and he's fortunate for it, because the moment you start losing, now everybody looks at it for what it is and says, well, he hit all these, but he missed on these. We really could have used these right now. And, you can't pretend like those mistakes didn't happen just because you've won some games. You got to stay on it.
Yeah, well, good stuff, Corey. Good conversation. We'll see how it all turns out on Sunday, and appreciate you doing this. We'll talk soon.
All right, just for you guys, I'm going to pick up Josh Gordon off the waiver wire because I'm fairly certain he's there. I'm fairly certain he's available in all formats, and I'm going to plug him into my lineup.
If you have
that he catches 1.1 passes for 17 yards.
If you're in a 20-team fantasy league, then that might be a good play.
We'll see you, Corey. Thanks.
Later, guys.
Yep. Corey Curtis, sports director at News 2, joining us. We'll coming up next, maybe hear from Derrick Henry. We'll discuss some of that a little bit on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Your home for the MTSU Blue Raiders is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Every touchdown.
Yes, touchdown.
Every three.
Free ball, yes, sir.
It all lives here.
Middle Tennessee.
You can also hear the Blue Raiders in the Borough on 97.5, Middle Tennessee Athletics on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
Ooh, it's NFL Week 3, folks. Started off right with a no-sweat, same-game parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It does not matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You get free bets back for this Thursday night same-game parlay game. If it doesn't hit, you get the free bets back. It's Steelers-Browns. This is Joe Rexroad, and I'm telling you that same-game parlays are a perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. In this one, you know what? I think I like Najee Harris over on the rushing yards. You know, Nick Chubb probably shouldn't have scored that last touchdown that he scored, but I think he's going to score another one in this one. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Steelers on the money line. But you do whatever you want to do with this one. Build whatever you want or choose from one of the popular SGBs pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However you want to play, you can bet the NFL on Thursday night with a no-sweat same-game parlay. Sign up with promo code Joe102 if you don't have an account. If you do, you're all set. Sign up and see what you got. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. 3+ legs, minimum $1 bet required. Refund issues and withdrawable free bets expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $5. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbet.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Get your game on at Social Furniture. Entertain in style and make your social experience more comfortable with new furniture. Everyone loves to socialize. That's why you need new furniture. Save big. Professional same-day delivery and installation. Finance interest-free. Get rewarded with social cash back. Buy $1,000, get $125 cash back. Buy $3,000, get $450 cash back on your Social Furniture gift card to spend on accessories, new TV, sports events, or anything you like. Huge selection in stock. Shop local. Shop social.
Football season is here again, and when it comes to procuring my adult beverages for the big games, I saddle up and head to Red Spirits and Wine. Red's titanic selection of beer, wine, distilled spirits, and cigars is second to none. And Red's Cracker Jack crew always delivers a winning combination of service and value. There's no two ways about it. Red is top of the range. Open 7 days a week at Highway 70 South in Bellevue. And check us out at redspirits.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
It's on, it's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way, I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Bavarian Beer House, Nashville's only authentic German beer hall, is a place full of fun, food, music, and most importantly, beer. Enjoy traditional German bratwurst, schnitzel, giant pretzels, and more in an Oktoberfest-inspired space. Head to theGameNashville.com/deals now to get a $50 gift card for only $25 to Bavarian Beer House while supplies last. Michael McCarron, Predators 4, are going to join us here in just a few minutes, but a spirited conversation with Corey Curtis, especially involving wide receiver Josh Gordon. And Willy, you've brought it up. We knew that this was a position they needed to address. They signed Josh Gordon to the practice squad at the end of training camp just before the season started, and he got in the game last week but didn't really do much. But what are some things about Josh Gordon that you think the Titans are looking for?
Well, I have no idea how Josh Gordon is doing in the practices, which is why I asked Corey. I mean, Corey might have a little more insight on how that's going. I mean, they may be coming to the conclusion that Josh Gordon is just not good enough to play in this league right now, which, was the case when they signed him. They didn't know. But now that he's been around long enough, I would hope that they have a feel for what he can do and what he can't do. And so this is under the assumption that he is ready, he's as prepared as he's going to be. And if he can't play, might as well just move on from him and bring in another young receiver that you might develop and have something with. But in the whole thing of they need somebody who can run a vertical route and create some space for Derrick Henry, for the tight ends, for the other receivers. You've got Kyle Phillips, who I don't know how bad the shoulder was hurting. He was supposedly a game-time decision. He was completely ineffective. Looked like a totally different player on Monday against the Bills. I don't know how he's feeling right now, but I go back to Blake Benningfield and his comments, the former scout, saying, I worry about a smaller guy like that and his body holding up. There's already issues with that. You've got Nick Westbrook-Akine, who is limited in what he could do. He's not that type of receiver. He's a role player who needs somebody to support him. You're leaning on Robert Woods, who right now I don't think he's the same player he was a couple of years ago. Hopefully that will get better as he gets further removed from the knee. My point is, as Burks tries to find his way, how about Josh Gordon, who could maybe make a big play for you, just looking at the stats that he's had? I don't think he can do it for a whole year. Corey's thinking fantasy league and things like that, 1,000 yards. I'm not going that far at all. I'm just saying a guy who could play a role, maybe catch a long pass or two. If he just caught one pass and got you 35 yards, that would be something. I think, just based on his skill set, he's the kind of guy that can make a big play for you. And if he makes one, that might help everybody else.
Derek, got about a minute.
I mean, it doesn't. If
they're desperate, my point is they're desperate.
Yeah, if you're going to bring in Josh Gordon and you're going to activate him to the roster, and he played and he had 3 or 4 snaps this past game.
I think he had one target.
One target. If you're going to do that, just go out there and put him in packages, because that's what you're doing with everybody else. Cody Hollister, all those other guys. I mean, you've said that it's determined by package and all this other stuff. Well, get a package with Josh Gordon in there and just see what he can do. Throw him the football. I mean, at this point, you're just trying to find playmakers.
Yeah.
And if he can catch a deep ball for you, or if he can back the secondary up some, then okay. Because right now, you don't have that consistently. I think you have a player that can do that in Traylon Burks, and you started off on the right foot last game by trying to get him the ball. But beside that, coupled with the offensive line, you don't have no playmakers. So why not try him and see what happens? And if it don't work, okay, it don't work. Move on.
Right. And I think it could get to that point for sure. Coming up next, we will talk to Michael McCarron, Predators forward, as training camp has started for them. We will do that. But first, my time to tell you about Superbook and why you need to get involved in that. From Nashville to Knoxville and all around the country, Superbook Sports is your place to wager this football season. You don't need to be at the game to enjoy football this fall. Just download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com and start placing your bets now. Right now, Superbook has lines up for every pro football game for the rest of the season, plus which team will win the title, who's your MVP, and who will surprise in the SEC. You can wager on all that and more right now at Superbook Sports. Along with football, Superbook accepts wagers on every other major sport. So bring Vegas to the palm of your hands. And now Superbook will match 100% of your first bet up to $1,000, no matter if the bet wins or loses. Get in the action right now with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Hey, this is Roman Yossi, and this is Nashville.
Going to the front of the net, he scores. What a gorgeous move. Roman Yossi.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tennessee has never been a stranger to progress, and with all the changes going on, people want an affordable way to protect their families, which is why so many Tennesseans trust us. At Farm Bureau Health Plans, helping people find peace of mind has never gone out of style. Just click fbhp.com, call us, or visit one of our many offices. Farm Bureau Health Plans, protecting Tennesseans since 1947.
Majestic in its scope, dazzling in its sound, there is nothing to match the experience of hearing, live in concert, The Planets. Experience the ultimate trip through the galaxy. Hear The Planets as Giancarlo Guerrero and the Nashville Symphony perform Gustav Holst's sonic celestial showpiece. Also, Tchaikovsky's virtuosic violin concerto with Augustine Hadelich. Tickets begin at $29. Call 615-687-6400 or order at NashvilleSymphony.org. September 29th, 30th, and October 1st and 2nd at Schermerhorn Symphony Center. The Planets with the Nashville Symphony.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Chevrolet Buick GMC. The weather's starting to get cooler, and you know what that means. It's time for football. I don't know about you, but I've been waiting all year for this. Did you know that the most overtimes ever played in a football game is 7? That's almost 3 full games. It's crazy. I can't imagine sitting there for that long. Here at Newton, we know your time is valuable, especially during football season. We have ways to keep you cheering for your team without sitting and waiting. If your car needs some work, you can schedule online anytime. You can drop your car off at your convenience, and we'll update you when it's ready. On top of that, if you're shopping for a new car, we have Newton Fast Pass. It's the fast and easy way to shop from home. You can walk through the entire process from your couch. We can even deliver the car to your home. So no more missing games. Watch them all. Visit NewtonChevroletBuickGMC.com to start shopping or schedule your service today.
Did he get it? He did. Touchdown, Vanderbilt.
This is your home for Vanderbilt football. This Saturday, Vanderbilt football in Tuscaloosa. It's the Commodores and Crimson Tide. Our coverage is set for 5 p.m. Vanderbilt is on 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Hey, Nashville. This is
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We'll get back into some of the Titans discussion here in just a little bit, but the Predators have reported for training camp. We will be out there at Centennial Sportsplex tomorrow, and we say hello to Predators forward Michael McCarron, who is on the line with us. Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great, fellas. Nice to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back. Everybody's excited. Big Sexy is on the line. He is back with us. You know, how excited are you? I know you've been skating a little bit, but to get on the ice with all of your teammates and compete and get this thing going, it's hard to believe you guys play a couple games on Monday.
Yeah, we're a hungry group, that's for sure. We we all had great off seasons. We're coming in ready to go. We're hungry. We're ready to take the next step, and it's great being around the guys again, being on the ice with them, and like I said, getting that hunger back, and everybody's super excited.
You obviously you like making the playoffs. You did that last year, but getting swept by the eventual Stanley Cup champions. I know you want to put last year behind you, but what are some things that you can learn and use as motivation as you all move into this year?
Well, I think there's a lot of guys that, don't have a ton of NHL playoff experience. We were a young team last year. Experience is key. I mean, you look at all the teams that eventually win the Stanley Cup and become juggernauts. They go through some of those, tough stretches in playoffs. I mean, it took Tampa, I think, 4 years in the playoffs, first, second round exits before they finally figured it out. And sometimes you just, you need that experience in you. And, last year was a great learning curve for us. We weren't quite there. Obviously we were playing the best team in the league in the first round, but you definitely take some things and learn. The game's a lot faster in the playoffs. There's every little detail matters so much more. And, like I said, experience can really help you and give you confidence going into this year.
Talking to Michael McCarron from the Nashville Predators. So, Michael, what was this morning like as you had the testing? It's sort of, I guess, the day you've got to get through to get onto the ice. So how difficult was that?
Yeah. So, yesterday was obviously physicals and off-ice testing, and then today was a little bit more challenging. We had our on-ice testing, and, it's more nerve-wracking than anything because everybody comes in ready to go and in good shape. It's more just getting to this day is the nerve-wracking part. Once it's over, it's the fun begins. So tomorrow we're, I'll speak for myself, but just super excited to finally, getting a real practice and I think we have a little team scrimmage tomorrow too as well. So definitely excited to start playing some hockey again.
Fantastic. I know, like the strength coach David Good, he's probably got goals for you. You're a big, strong player. What were some of the things you set out to do in the offseason to come back in top shape or maybe even with on-ice skills?
Yeah, so for me, I needed to get more explosive. I need to be able to play with good pace. So for example, your high jump, your long jump, things like that where you can be really explosive. My first couple steps on the ice. And then obviously still always rounding out my game. It's you can't be a one-dimensional player in this league, and I've learned. It took me a long time to learn that. So, last year was a great stepping stone for me, and to be able to build off that this summer was great. Going into the summer with some confidence, and those are a couple things that I really looked to gain an edge on.
One of the things that we talked about a lot. I was just up at the broadcasters meetings in New York, and they just showed a lot of clips about how exciting the game is, right? The skilled players, and they cracked down on some of the tactics that years and years ago bigger, stronger players could do to contain the skilled players. So that's got to be a unique challenge for you as a big, strong player, because teams like you guys, you want to play big, strong, tough, but at the same time, if you can't be quick enough to handle the skill guys, there's going to be a big price to pay. So it's maybe not like it was in a previous era, even if you want to be, an intimidating, tough team.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of those clips back in the 90s and 80s and early 2000s. I mean, you could hook and hold. You could basically wrap your stick around a guy and just, sled behind him the whole way down the ice. I mean, that must have been pretty nice back for the big boys back then. But, no, I mean, you look at all the guys now. I mean, even guys my size, everybody's super agile. They can move well. That was always probably one of my biggest downfalls was my skating and my speed. And, I came into camp last year and I had a good camp, and I was able to finally grow into my body. It took me a while out there. So, Yeah, no, you definitely have to be. You got to be agile. You got to take good angles. You got to think the game a lot smarter when you're. I wouldn't say necessarily a slower guy, but a guy like in my shoes, you got to think the game a little bit better so you don't get caught out of position. So things like that to think about. But yeah, being a big guy, it's back in the '90s must have been pretty fun.
Yeah, I would think so. But it made life probably a little bit easier. But it is great for us fans watching some of the great balance between the physical part of the game plus the skill that you see on display here. So, Mike, I want to ask you about Ryan McDonough because he's a big addition. He's been in a lot of winning locker rooms. I know it's early, but what are your first impressions of him?
Yeah, he's super nice guy. Obviously, a family man. He's got a couple kids. He's soft-spoken. He doesn't speak a whole lot. Super nice guy. He gets on the ice for practice, and he just does what he does. He doesn't make a lot of noise. I would say steady Eddie. He's a great player. You can't make a pass through him. He's knocking everything down. He's won I don't know how many cups, but 3 cups. He's a stud. It's great to have him in our locker room. Great to have that winning pedigree around, and definitely can learn from a guy like that.
Michael McCarron is with us, Predators forward. The Predators announced today that Pekka Rinne is returning to the organization as a special advisor and is working with some of the goalies in training camp. How cool is that to have him back in the fold in a different capacity?
Coach Rinne.
Yeah, it's definitely cool seeing him around. It's different. We were having lunch the other day, and he wasn't sitting with us. He was sitting over with the coach.
What's he doing over there?
He went to the dark side, that's for sure. But no, it's definitely great to have him around. He's, another guy that you can just pick his brain and ask him questions, and from a forward aspect in my shoes, you can ask where's the open spot when I'm on this part of the ice? Where should I be looking? When there's a goalie in the net, where should I be looking? Where could I beat a guy? Great to have a guy like that because, I don't know how many games he's played, but probably, going to be a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best goalies to ever lace him up. So great to have that experience as well around. Probably huge for a guy like Juice and, our backup goalies. So great addition to have around the locker room, that's for sure.
And then finally, how was the Smashville showdown Monday night at Hawkins Field?
Oh, that was so fun. Yeah, we had a good time. Our whole team seemed to really enjoy it. The great camaraderie. The Vandy boys were super helpful and nice with us, and it was cool to be in that atmosphere. I was in the home run derby. I didn't hit any out of the park, so I was kind of embarrassed a little bit. But, man, it's not as easy as it looks.
No, not at all. Michael, appreciate the time today. We'll be out there tomorrow, so we'll be sure to say hi. But looking forward to another great season, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. Have a great day.
Michael McCarron, Predators forward, joining us. Again, we'll be live at Centennial Sportsplex tomorrow for Predators training camp as they'll be on the ice. We'll see. Is it Coach Rinne or Coach Pex? How do we want to?
That's a good question.
Coach Pex.
I think it's Coach Pex.
I like Coach Pex.
Coach Pex.
I think that's probably the way to go.
It's a great story about the first time you see a guy like that sitting with the coaches and not sitting
That's
with the
players. That's what we thought of Chase,
yeah.
remember?
What are you doing?
Like Chase was over with the suit.
When he became
like,
the suit.
yeah,
When he became
the
suit. Yeah.
Yo, Chase, you want to come sit with us? Sorry, guys.
I can't sit with you,
I'm
man.
eating steak now, fellas.
Gotta sit over here. But I'll come say hi later. Maybe. We'll see. Looking forward to that. But coming up next, going to get back into the Titans. I know Todd Downing was talking to the media. We'll hear, and he actually was asked about Josh Gordon. So we will get into that a little bit coming up next here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
It's brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center,
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis, finally done with record heat after back-to-back days of breaking high temperature records today. The first day of fall and feeling like it. Lower 80s and lower humidity into the afternoon. A few clouds on and off, but relatively a nice day.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
About 80% of new home buyers don't shop around for the best mortgage loan. That's a mistake. Hey, Willy Donick here from my friends at Loan Pronto. Not all mortgages are created equal. People who use Loan Pronto, on average, save $3,500 in closing costs. They get a better rate, which saves them thousands more every year. Your banker or agent's go-to lenders are fine people, but don't assume they're giving you the best deal. Call Loan Pronto for a quick second opinion or go to loanpronto.com. I'll bet you they can get you a better loan, lower rate, without all those annoying closing costs. And when rates drop, Loan Pronto will refinance you for free. No closing costs. Call to get pre-approved in minutes. They can even hook you up with a high-performing real estate agent if you need one. So call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. Or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Football is finally here, and if you're out at Nissan Stadium for a tailgate, catching kickoff at your favorite bar, or just curled up on the couch, be sure you're sipping on a Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Hey, what's up? It's Chase McKay. By now, you all got to know how much I love Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Game days can get pretty busy. I'm always sure to unwind with a chilled Screwball. There's nothing like it. Be sure to make Screwball your official drink of choice this season, just like me, the suit. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Attention, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 29th year of football action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-79-BET-US and get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Silly Underdog Picks coming up in about 15 minutes. Looking forward to that segment as always. Some people a little more excited than others. Our college football game of the week, tune in for that on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. This Saturday is Arkansas takes on Texas A&M at 6 o'clock. Go Hogs. College football game of the week is brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree drafts in wall-to-wall sports, and Superbook Sports, voted #1 sports book in Vegas. Download their app today. Todd Downing and Shane Bowen have been addressing the media as they do once a week, and I know Todd Downing was asked about Traylon Burks, said that he really likes his progress, that he feels like he's getting better, which each and every week he's getting more touches and earning more touches. And look, Derek, I mean, you've been saying you got to scheme him open, give him the ball, give him the opportunity, but it seems like the coaches are pleased with his progress.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what type of player you have until you try to get him involved. This is not 1980, this is not 1990, this is not the early 2000s where, okay, we got a young receiver or young quarterback and we want to sort of ease them into the fold. We got to be careful because we don't want to mess this up. No, we have enough data now that shows that these young cats that are coming in, they're ready to play. And if you're drafting him in the first round, you can't sit around and wait. Oh, we need to wait a year or two before we throw him in the fire. No, you got to throw him in the fire now to see if he can play. And for what I'm seeing, Traylon Burks is a good receiver, and he can be more than just a good receiver. But you got to give him the opportunity. You got to set this kid up for success because, again, he's always going to be compared to A.J. Brown, no matter what y'all try to do, no matter what people say, no matter what Traylon. And it's not fair to Traylon, but that's just the way it is. So if that is indeed the case, then you need to make sure that this guy can play. And you need to start throwing him the football. And they did last game. Well, it needs to continue because, again, he's the only legitimate playmaker in the passing game that I think. Yeah. I mean, yes, Woods will move the chains for you. He's going to make those tough catches. But Traylon he's the one guy that has the potential to scare defensive backs.
I got to tell you, unrelated, but best like $6 I ever spent is this little stand for my phone.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. I'm like, I'm putting my phone on top of my computer.
Yeah, no, this is great because I can pull tweets up and so yeah.
That's why
I used to laugh at D-Mase when he would bring gadgets like that.
Yeah, no. This
now
is
I'm
awesome.
kind of like I need to get one.
I mean, because I got a whole setup here. I got the camera, I got the iPad for the call screener, I got my phone, my computer. I mean, it takes a lot. But Todd Downing was also asked about Josh Gordon, who we were just discussing. Says likes how Josh Gordon is working, getting more comfortable and in better shape. Said he's learning more each week.
Was he not in shape? Didn't he just come from another team?
Yeah, I don't
went through another team.
I don't really get that.
I don't get that either. It's like, did he all of a sudden, after he left Kansas City and maybe spent a day or two off?
He went to McDonald's.
Did he start eating Big Macs and filet of fish, quarter pounder, French fries?
I always wonder about a line like that. Is that something that he had seen, or is that just a throwaway line?
I think that's a throwaway
Let me
line.
just throw this out there and try to kind of rationalize why he hasn't been in there yet.
Our crack
cover for him.
Our crack staff of Nick Keyser and company has found the actual clip. So here's what he said.
Josh Gordon's settled in a little bit more on the practice field. I know he played 18 snaps Monday, but you'll see him building up for potentially more.
I think so, and understanding maybe different positions, so we don't have to just tag him at one spot and limit his route tree a little bit. I think he's getting some more exposure, and getting in better shape and all those things. So excited to have Josh, and like what he's been showing us.
Well, okay, so you heard that they're finding different positions for him to play. How important is that for somebody like Josh Gordon, who we saw in practice, some clips of him. I mean, he's still quick, but being able to play the X, the Z, the Y, whatever, how important is that for him?
It's very important because the Titans are looking for a playmaker at the receiver position. So they're looking for that guy or those two guys that we can sort of put in different positions, put different points, whether it be inside, outside, off the ball, on the ball, stacked, whatever, just so we can get you open, get the ball in your hands, and then let you work after getting the ball in your hands. So it's good. It might slow down his learning process a little because he has to know more than just the X or the Z. He has to learn the X, the Z, the Y. So it may slow it down a little bit, but he will be better from it in the longer run because now I can, in a 2-minute drill, you can line up anywhere on the field and we still believe we can make plays. Again, the Titans are desperately looking for playmakers in the passing game because right now they really only have one, and that's Traylon Burks.
Downing also said he acknowledges there has been some frustration on offense, said everyone has been working hard and frustrated that there hasn't been more success, said the group just needs to keep working and thinks success is on the horizon. That's from Jim Wyatt on Twitter. Look, I have no doubt that they're not working. Like I don't think working. I don't think anybody is going to question the work ethic of this team. I just think, as Derek has been saying, I just don't think they have the horses.
That makes it really tough for him because people are questioning him and his ability. And I thought Robbie brought up an interesting question. And, Derek, I want to fire this at you. When we're looking at Downing, there's a couple different components to being a good offensive coordinator. There's dealing with all of this stuff that he's got. He's now they've lost Taylor Lewan. They're still trying to figure out how fast they can move Traylon Burks along. They got to get the running game going. All of these things. That's one thing. And then there's when you get into the game and you've got the game plan, do you have the right feel for the right call at the right time? And that's something that's hard to teach, right? I think you can be good at one. You can be good about the planning. You can maybe be a good people person. But then there's also when it's 3rd and 8 and I have to sense, I got to put all the things together and I got, 10 seconds. I got to get the play to the quarterback. Who's got the feel, the coolness? And some guys just don't have it, right? Some guys may not have the greatest scheme of all time, but they've got the great sense of when to call the play at the right time.
It's sort of like business partners. You have business partners where, that one guy is the brains and he's doing all the stuff in the back, but he doesn't quite have that personality to then take that and talk about it in front of a bunch of people. So you have that other male or female that, hey, give it to me. I know what we're doing. I got it all down, but I'm able to better relay it to the masses. So I understand what you're saying. Downing, I don't know which one he is. Is he the brains, or is he the guy that on game day is able to not only put it together during the week, but also call it at the right time during the game? Like you said, there are people, coordinators that can do that can be the brains, but then also, look at this playbook and say, okay, 3rd and whatever, critical time in the game, this play is going to be perfect because I know exactly what they're going to do. So this play is perfect. And we know the coordinators that can do that. We've seen them from McVay to name any other coordinator you want. Andy Reid, even though they're head coaches, but they have coordinator backgrounds. They have such a good feel for the game. Not only am I good at putting together a game plan, but I'm also good at taking that game plan and calling the right plays at the right time. And we praise those guys. Well, Downey's sort of, he's behind the 8 ball because no matter what he puts together, they don't have enough playmakers to get it done.
So he's got a lot thrown at him.
Yeah, so there's a lot. I don't blame him. And I'm going to get into who we should be turning our attention toward.
We'll do that.
Really?
We'll do that at 12:30 after Silly Underdog Picks because you're pretty passionate about this. We'll definitely discuss that. But coming up next, it is time for Silly Underdog Picks. Derek is already celebrating. We will do that next. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You watch the game.
He scores! Philip Forsberg!
We talk the game.
Philip Forsberg stays here in Nashville, hearing the deal is done. 8 years, close to $70 million total.
We are the game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
This segment of ESPN 102.5 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event this weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, are showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
See the latest from Viraggio, handcrafted on Fifth Avenue in New York by true artisans with unmatched attention to detail and the highest quality standards. Viraggio is the only ring that can be customized for every woman's specific desires. Come explore the entire Viraggio collection at Genesis.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. this. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Come join us and take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings this Friday through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey folks, Joe Rexford here. Listen, to do the job I do, I got to stay on the move, and sometimes that can catch up to me. Even when it does, I always enjoy natural and enjoyable ways to de-stress my mind and body, and that's why I use the high quality and wide selection of THC and CBD products from OrderGreen.com. OrderGreen.com is the nation's #1 online shop for all things cannabis, and man, I'm in Tennessee, but it makes me feel like I'm in Colorado, and they can be delivered right to your doorstep. Save 25% now on every shipment of gummies with a subscription. That's OrderGreen.com. Subscribe to save 25% on gummies.
Men, are you asking yourself questions like, why am I gaining fat? Why is my energy or sex drive down and maybe haven't been getting the exercise you need? If you want to get back to the man you used to be but just don't have that youthful energy, that edge you once had, you very well might have low testosterone. Low T causes all kinds of issues, from a reduced libido, lower drive, and bad sleep patterns to problems with muscle gain, bone density, and more. It may even contribute to erectile dysfunction, and if this sounds like you, it's probably time to get treated for your low T. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've treated thousands of men for low T. We've seen them put on muscle, add to their energy, improve their sex lives, get better sleep, and just feel better. Plus, if you're like most men, you'll see results in only a few weeks. So make an appointment today and experience how testosterone therapy can truly change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. Call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments extra, results vary.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUZ HD2 Laverne, broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Yes, it is. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Silly Underdog Picks time. Award-winning. Silly Underdog Picks presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason here with you. We say hello to the panel, which includes Kelly Holcomb, Chris Sanders, and George Plaster. Gents, how we doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good.
We are fantastic.
Yeah, I'm
We're
doing
feeling
great
good here.
I'm
Yeah,
feeling
Derek's feeling good. Chris is feeling good. I don't know about the rest of us.
I'm feeling good. What? Are you looking for a health update?
Well, hey, I'm glad. I'm glad you're feeling good. That's good. That is all very positive.
I'm not running a marathon, but I'm doing fine.
Well, good. I wouldn't expect you to run a marathon, George. That's I'm not either, so that's fine. All right, let's turn things over to Kelly's favorite, the commissioner, Willy Donick.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your commissioner speaking. Welcome to another exciting week of the Silly Underdog Competition 2022, brought to you by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports, the official lines of the Silly Underdog Picks. It was a tremendous week of competition, very exciting again, and I would have to say, unprecedented success by some of the panel, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, our online contest. Congratulations to Charlie Payne from Brentwood. He is our weekly champion. And just for those that are wondering, when you win the weekly prize, you get a choice of tickets to a concert that we have access to or a sporting event that we have access to. Our promotions man, Cliff McCardle, will hook you up. So Cliff will be in touch with Charlie. Congratulations. Excellent job. He had 37 points. The most popular picks in our competition that you can play every week at thegamenashville.com. Just go online and register. We'd love to have you part of the contest. 22% of the audience took Georgia Southern at UAB. That one fell short, even though Georgia Southern, of course, had come off the win at Nebraska. They could not beat the Blazers of UAB. 21% took Texas Tech at NC State. That also came up short. I will say that 38 people selected Bowling Green in the upset that they had over Marshall, maybe inspired by one Chris Sanders. We'll have to find out. There's no way to quantify that 100%. But that does bring us to the recap of last week's picks. First, Kelly Holcomb had the leadoff position. He went with the Owls of FAU, a 9-point dog against UCF, and they came up short. 40-14, UCF flexed the muscle. It was a no contest. Pretty good start, Kelly. They were up 14-7, but then the roof caved in.
Yeah, and once again, my old saying is, let's move on. Who cares?
Poor Kelly. Poor Kelly.
Next up, Plaz. He was excited, tried to get inspired by Derek Mason. He took Michigan State, a 3.5-point dog. This took the smile off of Derek's face because it did not go well out west at Washington. The Spartans beaten 39-28. Plaz, your reaction?
They suck. You know,
I put a call in because you picked them, Plaz. I put a call in.
I was out of town. My uncle was celebrating his 90th birthday, and so a lot of our family was in Little Rock. So I go upstairs to the rec room, and I don't know the numbers of the channels. And so I watch about 5 minutes of Michigan State in non-HD. Oh, my God, it looked like a snowstorm out there.
Oh, man.
Man, you had to be that's pretty interesting, the non-HD.
You don't do that
That's
anymore.
not easy to find these days.
You can find them. Far and few between.
Yeah, I couldn't, first of all, I didn't want to admit to my relatives that I cared more about the football game than I did the birthday celebration. So I'm up there kind of incognito, and, you know, I don't have the numbers of the state, and I don't want to go downstairs and ask, because if I do, I'm going to hear about the Greek Orthodox Church, and I'd rather at that point hear about Michigan State scoring.
So were there rabbit ears?
Really work out.
Rabbit ears on the TV? Was there an antenna that you put up outside of a window or something to get the station?
No, but the problem was, Willie, I didn't know the number to ABC, you know, the high-def number. And so I found the low-def, which looked like some UHF. It looked like Mizzlou television.
Okay, so it was unfortunate.
More info than you needed?
Well, no, it's a good story, but the problem is you got the L. So that brings us to D-Mase, who had a hunch. I don't know where he got this information. When you said this, I was like, how in the world do you think about this game? He took Wyoming playing Friday night, a game not even available to our online panel because it was a Friday game and not Saturday. 16.5-point home dog against Air Force. I didn't even think to look at it, but our resident Wyoming alum, Kara Hammer, was at the game with her young daughter, Remy, her first game, and she reported on Twitter that they pulled the upset on Friday. Otherwise, I would not have thought about the game at all. I was like, wait a minute. Derek took that game.
Absolutely.
16.5 points. Derek, where did you get the tip on the Cowboys?
Listen, I watched them the week before, and I told y'all, I don't know why I was watching them, but I watched the game. Yeah. And I'm
the same thing you said last week when you picked them. I don't know why I'm picking them, but I'm picking them.
I saw them play, and I'm like, this is a pretty good team. So when they came up, I'm like, nah, that spread is too much. I'm picking Wyoming. I saw them play. So there you go.
Okay.
But it was
working.
It wasn't on television, period, at all. No television, nowhere.
It was on in Little Rock.
So D-Mase picks up 16.5. So he's walking tall on Saturday morning. But Chris Sanders sent a text to the group, and he said, we're coming after you. We're coming back. We got to answer this. He took Bowling Green, the Falcons, a 16.5-point dog against Marshall, and Chris Sanders matches D-Mase as Bowling Green pulls off the win 34-31. This is incredible. So Chris Sanders last week got 23.5 with Georgia Southern, comes back with 16.5 from Bowling Green. Chris, you're on fire.
Unbelievable.
Man, it is awesome, man. First, when I was looking at the game, I was like, man, it was 14-0. So
you wasn't looking at the game.
All of a sudden, I look at ESPN, and I'm like, what in Sam E. Hill is going on? And we actually won the game, so thank you for the 16.
Well, it was nice, and then we got the text.
Wait. We won the game?
Who was we?
The commissioner's cheering me on. All y'all was just blasting me. So it was me and the commissioner friends now.
All I know is I got a text on the chain at 10:46 p.m. on Saturday. It says from Chris Sanders, "Hello, is it me you're looking for?" And I was like, wait a minute, I got to check the scores. And sure enough, Bowling Green has won. Wow.
Oh, man.
That brings us to another adventure from Saturday. Chase McCabe, he took Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers, a 6.5-point dog at Indiana. I flip on this game before the Vanderbilt game comes on. Western has got full control of the game. They're crushing the Hoosiers. Mm-hmm. They're moving up and down the field, and they absolutely gagged it. It goes to overtime.
Unreal.
Never should have gone to overtime, but Indiana wins at 33-30. There's so many ways that this went wrong. I apologize to those listening in Bowling Green, but Chase, a collapse.
A colossal collapse. Like, I thought I was feeling good. I was feeling like I was going to be, having the party. And obviously I didn't know how the other games were going yet, but no, they couldn't get it done.
What?
They threw an interception in the end zone. They mismanaged things at the end of the game, and Indiana pulls it out 33-30. So Chase came back, and he went with Mike Vrabel and the Titans. He went to his heart. 10-point dogs at the Bills. We kind of know how that turned out. Not so well.
You know what they say? You listen to your heart, you get heartbroken. Well, I don't know who said that.
Or friend zoned.
Yeah, or friend zoned.
Whichever.
Oh, he was definitely in the wrong zone after that one. So Chase goes 0-2 on the week. Chris Sanders then, he comes back. An underrated win after basking in the light of the 16.5-point college win. He gets 7 points with the Cowboys, hanging in there and beating the Bengals. They lost the lead late, came back. Cooper Rush, who we'd never heard of until about a week ago, leads them down the field for the winning field goal to beat the defending AFC champs.
Cooper Rush, pride of Central Michigan.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Chris knew that. He knows all about the WAC.
He didn't know that.
The MAC, I mean.
He didn't know that.
I thought he played for Memphis.
Well, you still get the 7 points.
Yeah, no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely.
D-Mase went with the Seahawks, coming off of their big Monday night win against Denver, 8.5-point dogs at the 49ers. And Jimmy G came off the bench. It didn't take very long. The 49ers won easily 27-7, so he struck out on that one. George had the Cardinals, a 5.5-point dog against the Raiders. Now, George, we got to know where you watched this game because it looked like it was over. The Raiders were way ahead. Cardinals make a great charge late. They scored and got the 2 to tie on a miraculous play. Then they get the fumble and the pickup of the ball all the way in for the game-winning touchdown in overtime. Pretty dramatic.
I was actually back in town, and I watched the end of it on that Red Zone channel. it looked to me like the Raiders defensively ran out of gas because Arizona went on about a 17-play drive to tie the game with the 2-point conversion. And then they got the toss in overtime. The Raiders looked like they were out of gas.
Yeah, that game just I couldn't believe that.
The Raiders did get the ball, though. Like, they got the stop, and then were in really good position. And that's when the fumble happened. A great hit on Hunter Renfrow, and they pick it up and score. So that leaves us with Kelly, who had a good pick. He took Jacksonville, 3.5-point dog against the Colts, and they kept it going. 2 years in a row, Kelly has picked the Jags when they have gone to Indy, and that has been a good play. So Kelly gets the shutout win 24-0. Pretty decisive.
Good job, Kelly.
They cannot beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville. It's like 8 years, I think, now. It's like eight straight games that they beat them in Jacksonville. Just can't play down there.
So after 3 weeks of competition, this is incredible. Chris Sanders has 47 points on 3 wins. 47. I believe there have been seasons where the champion has not had 47. Of course, we are picking 2 games now. So we have there's a lot more time to get back, more games to pick. D-Mase in second place with 33.5 points, a huge total, but he's still behind. Plaz 2-3 with 12.5 points. Kelly 2-3 with 10 points, and Chase 1-4 with 6.
Good job, Chase.
Whatever.
Hey,
Chase has fallen 41 back after 3 weeks. Yikes. All right, when we come back, we'll make the picks for week number 4. Plaz will be in the leadoff spot for the college, followed by D-Mase, then Chris Sanders, Chase, and then back-to-back picks for Kelly, and then back down the chain. Stay tuned. Silly Underdog Picks presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports. Coming back.
The Sports Talk doesn't end on Friday. Join Michelle Knezovic every Saturday morning at 9.
I've got my extra large coffee.
As she talks about the big stories of the week.
Predators news, the Tennessee Titans.
And looks ahead to the weekend.
Oh, I'm so excited.
On Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Are you getting hit hard with higher costs and higher interest rates? Is your credit card rate going up every month? Hey, Willy Donick, how'd you like to wipe out those credit cards before the holidays? Call Loan Pronto. Your home equity can rescue you right now. Your home's value is still way up, and there's a ton of cash that you can get. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. Get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off credit cards and consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut around $800 from their monthly budget. And even if your home mortgage rate goes up a little bit, it's offset by your credit card rate going to 0. When rates come back down, Loan Pronto will refinance you again for free. Call Loan Pronto. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits, and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
October is coming, and hockey season is back in Smashville. The 2022-23 Pred season brings energy, excitement, and the loudest fans in hockey. But the question is, are you ready? Be there for the home opener on October 13th to cheer on your Predators as they face the Dallas Stars at Bridgestone Arena. Tickets available now at NashvillePredators.com/tickets. Get your tickets and mark your calendar. Welcome back, Smashville. Let's go, Preds.
In today's economy, employers and employees should be working together to create safe, good-paying jobs with no unnecessary government overreach. Right to work does not belong in the state constitution. Tennesseans, this voting season, vote no on Amendment 1. Visit TennesseeWorkersAlliance.org, paid for by the Nashville Building Trades.
The Nashville Sounds are playing baseball through September 28th, which means more picture-perfect nights from the patio at Third and Home, known as Germantown's Bar with a Ballpark. Open for lunch and dinner Wednesday through Sunday, but the food and the patio experience while you watch a game are where it's at. For more, visit thirdandhome.com.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Oh, yes. We're moving into the danger zone. Silly Underdogs 2022, Week 4. It is time to make the picks. And up first, currently in third place, the one and only director, George Plaster.
Willie, that is music to my ears.
I'm sure it is.
Hello again, everybody.
We went from 180 song right to another.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so here is the explanation for the pick. This guy, Ukulele, the quarterback at Clemson.
Ukulele.
I don't think that's how you pronounce it.
Well, who cares?
Close enough.
His mom.
Okay. Whatever his name is, he's a stiff. And if he plays the full game, Wake Forest pulls the upset. Wake Forest has been waiting. You know, this is sort of their measuring stick of where they are. They're pretty good. And if Clemson doesn't figure it out and go with the other guy, if Ukulele plays the whole game, I'm going to win this one.
So Plaz is taking Dave Clawson and Wake Forest.
Yes, the claw fence. So it's
I thought about
just
that,
for the
too.
record, I believe it is Uyunglele. Right? Is that how you say it? Boy, that is hard for any.
Buy a vowel.
That's right. George is a bitter play-by-play man because that's hard for the play-by-play guy to say throughout the game and get it right. Wake Forest.
You man back to throw.
I like that pick. I'm going to be honest with you.
I thought about that one.
So
too.
Plaz takes Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons, a 7-point home dog against Clemson. Apparently, that was the other game that they considered for game day because it's a big game in the ACC. This is a really good Wake Forest team, as we saw in Nashville. But, of course, game day will be headed to Knoxville. So Wake is the pick. That brings us to the red-hot Derek Mason. This song just inspires you.
It is.
It really gets the
it's
juices
inspiring.
Flowing.
And if you go look at the lyrics, it's a little surprising too.
Yeah, very surprising.
I didn't do that when I was 7 and the movie came out.
They didn't want you to do it when you're that age. I thought about that Clemson game. So I'm going to go with my original pick. And this game may not even be on television anywhere.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
So, Willie, you got to do your job. I'm going with Fordham in Ohio. Ohio is a 17-point favorite. I'm going with Fordham.
Fordham? Does Fordham have a field?
They're playing in Athens, Ohio, against Ohio. They have a high-powered offense. Ohio can't stop anybody. Okay?
Willie, I'm trying to help you.
So I can write it down.
So that's who I'm taking. They are a 17-point dog. 17 and a half. Man.
Is this like an intramural game?
Hey, as long as they win, y'all can laugh all y'all want to.
I don't even know how to spell
But
it.
I'm going to put up 17 and a half points.
I got it. It is 17 and a half.
There you go.
Okay.
It's on I think it's on the Cartoon Network.
It's on Nickelodeon.
No,
It's even on the board.
It's on CSS, George. I think you're doing the game.
Your source for cheap sports.
Hey man, listen.
Now I have been to the campus of Fordham. Once upon a time, I believe.
Of course you have.
Vince Lombardi, I believe, was the coach at Fordham.
Hey, the Rams,
way back in the day.
The Rams, not the L.A. Rams, but the Fordham Rams.
That's right.
Let's
That's
go.
Right. Fordham is in the Bronx, for the record here. But when I was on the campus, I went to the basketball camp. I don't think I saw a football field.
You did?
Do they? I didn't know that they had a team.
I don't know if they have a football field either.
Oh, man.
What kind of crowd do you think this game draws?
15 people.
Okay, so the Fordham Rams, a 17.5-point dog against Ohio.
They're in the Patriot League, too.
The Patriot League, yes.
Yeah, they're 3-0 overall.
All right, that brings us – now that is a shocking pick. That is absolutely – I can say for a fact the first time that Fordham has been involved in an underdog pick.
All right.
This is history.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to make history, too.
Okay. Who are we to question what Derek and Chris are doing here? Because they are way ahead of the pack. So let's go to Chris Sanders for the third pick.
All right, here we go. I'm going to pick this team. I grew up watching them. I think the coach was it Paul McCartney? They play. There was a head coach. I'm going with Colorado over UCLA.
I don't think it was Paul.
Oh, well, it was McCartney.
Yes.
It was
Dan.
Was it Dan McCartney? No, it wasn't Dan McCartney either.
Bill?
Bill McCartney. Yeah, let's call him Bill. Bill McCartney. He was
Y'all just throwing names out there now.
I just call him Mr. McCartney. We know who he is.
Doug, I mean, come on now.
There was a 30 for 30. Of course, he groomed the one and only Jerry DiNardo, who went from Colorado in the heyday to Vanderbilt as the head coach once upon a time. George, you remember those days.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out if the song that just got played was on Reel to Reel. I've got to be honest. It didn't sound overly clear. Play it again.
You want some more Lionel? That's what you. He just like. There we go.
Play it.
You can't get enough Lionel on this show.
It sounds fine.
Yeah.
It's probably the iPhone 3.
When it sounds okay, when it says hello, it sounds more like Herm Edwards.
He's saying goodbye, not hello.
Yeah,
exactly.
Herm needs Jimmy Kelly's.
Yeah.
Might need some therapeutic
Have you found that
food here.
the line-
I can't find the line.
Okay,
Where is it?
I have it. It is 21 and a half.
21 and a half officially on Superbook.com. So this is Colorado hosting UCLA at, I guess is that 1 o'clock Pacific time, I guess, or
Yes.
Mountain time? All right.
It's a specific time.
Yeah.
21 and a half home dog for Colorado. UCLA, they showed, did anybody see the shot of UCLA lining up to kick a field goal at the Rose Bowl? And there was not one fan you could see in the end zone. I mean, they played in front of absolutely nobody. So we'll see if there's a good crowd in Boulder. That brings us to Chase McCabe for his pick.
Behold the king, the king of kings. On your knees,
All right.
dog.
I'm in the cellar, but I have a strategy, and I'm going to stick to it. So give me Missouri +7 against Auburn. I believe Brian Harson's going to get fired here very soon before this is all said and done. But give me Mizzou, the Tigers +7.
All right. Missouri is a 7-point dog playing against Auburn. Now, Auburn, boy, they got crushed at home. Jimmy Frank and company.
Yeah, Penn State just put a shellac.
Ooh, they sure did. So that is a very interesting game at Auburn. Again, the Boo Birds are going to be out big time if Missouri is in position to win that game late. I mean, they are not happy down at Auburn on the Plains.
There's two things that need to change, though, Chase. Your strategy.
That's number one.
And the song saying, I'm the king of all kings, because you're in last place.
Yeah, well, we may need to change the song.
Chase, life is not good in the cellar. All right, that brings us to the patient Kelly Holcomb, who's been sitting back in the weeds. He needs points. He's got back-to-back picks.
We can skin a buck and run a trot line, and a country boy can survive. Country folks can survive. Country boy can survive. Country folks can survive.
Don't say nothing bad about my Titans. I love my Titans.
Tatting up.
Oh, man.
This is getting kind of crazy with D-Mase and with Sanders. I mean, D-Mase is starting to remind me an awful lot of the General. I mean, he's taking
a little bit
out of the MAC. It looks like he's got a computer analyst doing all this stuff. He's got spreadsheets. He's got guys helping him with analytics. I mean, I don't understand it. And then we all know what Chris does. He just throws a dart up against the dartboard and he just picks a game, which is obviously working for him. So I'm kind of where I just don't really know what to do right now. So, you know what? I'm going to say Texas Tech beats Texas.
You know, I thought about that one too.
Out of the Big 12.
So did I.
Texas Tech, a very popular pick last week, as we just pointed out from our listeners. Texas Tech is a 7-point home dog against Texas. Is it 7 officially on Superbook?
I think it was 15. From the last time I looked at
It's 15. You thought it was 15?
Was it not?
Nice try.
Hey, country boys trying to survive.
Yes, gracious.
I literally just had that game. Yes, 7. It is.
Okay, so officially 7 on Superbook. All right, so Kelly, you've got the Red Raiders. Now, what do you got on the pros?
Well, I mean, I got to start picking some games here. I got to start making something happen, but it's hard for me not to hit just singles. But you know what? Can Cincinnati go 0-3? I'm going to say Cincinnati goes 0-3. I'm going to say the Jets.
Ooh, wow. Flacco and the Jets.
That was an incredible win.
J-E-T-S-S, baby. Jets, Jets, Jets.
The Jets are a 6-point dog playing at home against the Bengals. Very interesting. Some life in New York after the miraculous comeback against the Browns. That brings us to Chase McCabe.
Okay. Interesting pick there, Kelly. I am going to say that there was an upset and a slip-up brewing for everybody's Super Bowl champions. I like the Miami Dolphins plus 5.5.
Ooh. A couple of 2-0 teams. Miami
Dolphins at home.
Tua doing an unbelievable job with the comeback last week against Derek's Ravens. 5.5-point dogs at home against the Bills. Ooh. If they win that game, they are on the radar. That brings us to Chris Sanders for his pro pick.
Yes, sir. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Colts definitely need to win. I think they're going to upset the Kansas City Chiefs.
Colts at home. Pretty desperate, 0-1-1, 5.5-point dogs against the Chiefs coming to town. That is a big game for Indy. Now we go to D-Mase.
All right, I thought about that Jaguar game. Gosh. You know what? Give me the upset. I'm gonna take Jaguars.
Ooh.
Okay, he's going with the Jags.
I'm going with the Jags.
2 weeks in a row on the board. They are a 7-point dog out in L.A. against the Chargers.
The Chargers are, I mean, their quarterback he's out, right? Or is he not out? He had broken ribs.
I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play, but I think he is clearly banged up. That'll be something to watch. All right, and finally, picking last, so he's unable to go get the lunch order. He's got to get the picks in. Plaz.
Willie, not only am I going to give you a pick, but I'm going to give you some game notes around it.
Oh, show prep.
Uh-huh. I'm going to take the Deadskins.
Okay.
And before the game, Daniel Snyder is going to announce a new co-owner of the team.
And that would be?
This guy Sarber from Phoenix is going to join up with the Deadskins. And they're going to have all the inappropriates basically in one ownership group.
Wow.
Can you tell me why the guy in the NBA is being forced out? I mean, I get why. But Snyder, the NFL just continues to be in a fog over Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fair question. Yes. That is a fair question. The Commanders, as they are known now, 6.5-point home dog against the undefeated and looking pretty good Philadelphia Eagles. So that is all right. That makes it a complete picks. All right, now let's give you a quick recap before we say goodbye to everybody because we are overtime, but that's okay. We're having fun. Underdog picks for 2022 week number 4. Yes, the suit is going to get after the suit. Plaz has the first pick. He goes with Wake Forest on the college front. They are 7-point home dogs against Clemson. Big game for the Demon Deacons. So that one will be one that you can see quite easily. A little more easily than Derek Mason's pick. He takes the Fordham Rams. Once upon a time, Vince Lombardi walked the campus at Fordham. Now, the ghost of Vince Lombardi will be watching the Rams take on Ohio. Fordham, a 17.5-point dog. Fordham never before picked in underdog competition. This is a first. Chris Sanders, first place in the competition, on fire so far. Takes Colorado. 21.5-point home dogs against UCLA. Chase McCabe goes with Missouri. 7-point dog at Auburn. Auburn coming off of the lopsided, embarrassing loss to Penn State last week. Could it be 2 in a row? Chase is hoping so. He's trying to come out of the cellar. Kelly Holcomb, Texas Tech. 7-point home dogs against Texas. And then he comes back in the pros and takes the New York Jets. 6-point home dogs under Joe Flacco against Joe Burrow and the 0-2 Bengals, who will be desperate for a win. Interesting game in the Meadowlands. Chase McCabe comes back with the 2-0 Miami Dolphins under Tua. 5.5-point dogs against the 2-0 Buffalo Bills, who just ransacked the Titans last week. So Chase going against the Bills for a second straight week. We'll see how that strategy works. Chris Sanders goes with the Indianapolis Colts. They need a win badly. 0-1-1, 5.5-point home dogs in their home opener against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 2-0. Derek Mason takes the Jaguars, coming off their big win last week at home. This week they're on the road, a 7-point dog against the L.A. Chargers. And then finally, George Plaster takes the Washington football team. The Commanders, 6.5-point dogs, taking on the 2-0 Eagles. Those are our picks. You can play online with us by going to theGameNashville.com. Make your picks Saturday morning before kickoff. 3 games of any type. Those are our picks for week number 4. And gentlemen, good luck.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, look, does Fordham even have a radio network?
No.
I believe they have a campus streaming service. You can get it, but you can't get it in Flushing. You can only get it in the Bronx.
It's time now for Ram Vision.
A freshman math student is the play-by-play.
It's on Hulu plus minus. That's where you can find it.
Okay. Boys,
Fordham, that's embarrassing.
I know. Gentlemen, have a good week, and George, go enjoy lunch wherever you are today.
Chase, thank you. Your concern about my dietary stuff is really touching.
Hey, I'm here to help.
Somebody needs to be concerned about your dietary.
Guys,
dietary options.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week. See ya. George Plaster, Chris Sanders, and Kelly Holcomb on Silly Underdog Picks presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports. Coming up next, we'll get into who Derek blames for the Titans' woes. We'll do that next. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ESPN Titans NFL Nation reporter Teron Davenport brings knowledge.
3 touchdowns. He was processing, getting rid of the ball quickly.
Passion.
Make no mistake about it. He absolutely has to hit the ground running.
And expertise on the two-tone blue and the NFL. Join TD every Monday at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Friday morning at 8 for all the latest on your favorite team. Teron Davenport is presented by Craneworks on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey football fans, Patrick Mahomes here, and I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and every season is screwball season in my house. No matter the time of year, that rich, smooth taste just hits the spot. Y'all know Screwball. It's made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, and it's just flat out delicious. It's my favorite. However you take it, as a shot, in an espresso martini, or a peanut butter old-fashioned, make it a Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Nashville Generators presents Power Outage Prepping. What are you going to do the next time you lose power? You can rummage through your drawers for batteries, flashlights, or candles, or you can call Nashville Generators, 615-885-1124, 615-885-1124. Nashville Generators will install a whole house Generac generator that'll keep your lights on, pipes flowing, and Wi-Fi working so you don't lose a thing. Don't let your family be displaced in the summer heat or freezing cold winters next time there's a power outage. Call the experts at Nashville Generators and be worry-free the next time bad weather comes to our area. Invest in a reliable system that automatically comes on to keep the pumps pumping, the kitchen cooking, and the family frolicking no matter what Mother Nature throws your way. Nashville Generators is the talk of the town. Go to NashvilleGenerators.com or call 615-885-1124 to start prepping now.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pekka Rinne. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Thank you, Pekka. Chase, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. If you missed it earlier, Pekka Rinne back in the organization in a new role. He was out on the ice practicing or helping coach. He's Coach Peck's, basically. He joins as a special alumni advisor is his title, but he is learning and observing the Predator staff, so pretty cool to see that Pekka is with the organization. Again, pretty neat there, Willie.
You was about to start a rumor.
What
when you said Pekka's on the ice, so he's
practicing.
practicing.
Oh yeah, I know, and that's why I was like, you know what, I need to actually read what his title is again and put that on.
I love the visual. We had Michael McCarron on the show, and he talked about they went to lunch after it was announced, and he said they were all at the table eating their lunch, and they looked over, and Pekka was at the coach's table. He was like, "This is a new era."
I know.
It's a little awkward. It's
So you got to call him Coach
strange.
Peck. Like, hey, Coach Peck.
Coach Peck's, yeah. The good stuff. Great ambassador. He'll be great for the organization. I mean, that's a fantastic move. Glad that we're going to have Pekka in our midst
here, at least part of the time.
Got to call him Coach Pex.
We'll be there tomorrow at Centennial Sportsplex, and maybe we will talk to Coach Pex at some point. So would be cool for sure. Be sure to join Big Joe Dubin and Elijah Campbell tomorrow for the Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz presented by National Playmakers Academy. From 6 to midnight, they'll preview the big games and take you through the night of high school football around the Mid-State. The Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz presented by National Playmakers Academy on 102.5 and 106.3. The game, we ran a little over with silly underdog picks, so trying to get back on track. But coming up next, we will get in to who Derek blames for the Titans' woes. But first, Willie, you're going to tell us about QC Kinetics.
All right, let's tell you about QC Kinetics. They have been helping people get moving, and that's a really good thing because they've got the cutting-edge technologies with the regenerative medicines. And the thing about it is, for a long, long time, it's been reserved for really high-end, world-class athletes, major league athletes. It's been available to them. It has not been readily available to the general public. But those days are changing thanks to QC Kinetics. They've done a tremendous job here in our listening area, and they've tripled in size. They now have clinics in Nashville, Clarksville, and Murfreesboro. So there's one near you, depending on where you live. Give them a call at 615-249-4024, and they'll tell you about how it works. We're talking natural biologics, healing agents from your own body to help restore and repair damaged joint tissue. So if you've got bad knees, bad hips, a shoulder, a back, you don't have to worry about some of the traditional remedies that may or may not have worked for you. This is a new option you may not have considered. So find out by getting a free consultation. QC Kinetics in Nashville, Clarksville, and Murfreesboro. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Every Wednesday at 2:45.
Sanders for the touchdown, 48 yards.
Former NFL wide receiver Chris Sanders joins Stillman and Company to give his thoughts on all things Titans and NFL. Fueled by Parman Energy, now hiring fuel drivers. Apply now at ParmanEnergy.com on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus, finally done with record heat after back-to-back days of breaking high-temperature records today. The first day of fall and feeling like it. Lower 80s and lower humidity into the afternoon. A few clouds on and off, but relatively a nice day.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before. And it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 615-457-8700. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, and Gallatin. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
National Playmakers Academy with former Vols Buck Fitzgerald and James Stone, along with former Austin Peay Governor Vic Wright, offer one of the best football developmental organizations in the nation. MPA has over 30 NFL alumni, 800-plus college football scholarship signees, and 25 high school football All-Americans. If you have a student athlete in middle school or high school that is looking for the best football training and college football recruiting help around, contact National Playmakers Academy today, 615-456-2680, or email april.mpafootball@gmail.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger,
How would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year.
Joe Rexrode.
Just wait until next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We'll talk to Bob Kessling, the voice of the Vols, coming up at 1 o'clock. Make sure you're watching us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook Live, or video streaming presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Hope you're having a great Thursday. All right, Derek, you have been you've been pretty passionate about this as you've looked through, and Corey Curtis brought it up earlier. We've talked about it, that the Titans drafting is starting to catch up with them, and obviously that falls on the shoulders of the general manager and John Robinson, who's been running this team since 2016. But you kind of did a deep dive into some things, and so what is standing out to you as you look at where the Titans sit right now at 0-2?
Well, few things that stand out to me, because ultimately, the coaching staff and people, want to blame Downey. Oh, Downey's not a good play caller, or he's too predictable, or you want to blame, the special teams, Ackerman. You want to blame Ackerman. Oh, he needs to get other people in there. He's not doing a good job. Yada, yada, yada. But nobody's – and I understand why no one's really looking in the direction that I'm about to talk about. I understand it. Because when you like someone, in love with someone, infatuated by someone, you give them grace. And you may overlook some of those bad spots in their life because of how you feel for them. We all do it.
Sure.
And the two people that should be taking the bulk of this blame, I like them both. I think that before these two people got to Nashville and headed up this team was headed, south in a hurry. This organization was going downhill in a hurry. And Amy Adams decided, which it might have been the best move in the organization's history, was to hire John Robinson, and then subsequently John Robinson hires Mike Vrabel. That may have saved this organization. Because, before that, people were talking about selling and all this other stuff and everything else. But what she did, that move probably saved this organization from being the Detroit Lions.
Sure.
Or the Cincinnati Bengals. Year after year after year of just bad play. But she made the decision, and it was the right decision. But even with the right decision, you still can blame those that you like.
Yep.
My mom has always taught me, listen, call a spade a spade. You still love them or them, but you got to call it how it is. Believe me, people in my world, they call it how it is. They love me, but they call it how it is, and I respect them for that. But if you look at John Robinson and Mike Vrabel, they're tied at the hip.
Yep.
They're always going to be tied at the hip. So I can't say
just like Jeff and Floyd were.
Exactly. So I can't say one without mentioning the other, whether good or bad. I can't say, this organization is great because of John Robinson. Yeah, and Mike Vrabel. I got to say them both. I can't just say John. I got to say Mike Vrabel. And that's the truth.
Yep.
But also on the flip side of that, this roster is where it's at because of John Robinson and Mike Vrabel. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying that they're bad at their job, but they have made some bad decisions at their job. Yep. And they have made some good ones too. But the bad ones have come back to bite them, and they're coming back to bite them hard. And unless they get this thing back on a back headed in the right direction, it might not end up well. I'm going to go back to what you was about to say, Chase.
I was just going to say, I know they're attached at the hip, and that's a part of it, that it's a team thing, but I put more blame on John Robinson for what you're about to get into, and then some of the subsequent roster moves that he's made. Vrabel's got to coach the players, and Vrabel obviously has a say in some of this stuff, but ultimately it's J-Rob's job to assemble the roster, and the drafting's catching up to him.
Absolutely, but I can't say one without the other, because if I say,
I get that.
Vrabel's great, then I got to say, well, John Robinson is the guy that got these men for Vrabel, and he coached them up. Well, okay, let's go back. 2016. Here is the individuals that are no longer here with this team or didn't hit, and they're all the same. Jack Conklin, first-round pick.
Gone.
Kevin Dodd, gone.
Bust.
Austin Johnston. Yeah, Kevin Dodd was a bust. Austin Johnson, gone. Now, he had 2 hits, Vrabel, because this would be, not Vrabel, but John, because this would be the year before Vrabel got there. Henry and Byard. Both of them looked as if they're on their way to having an argument about being in Canton. Both of them do.
Sure.
Okay.
Look, and Conklin was a hit. He just let him walk.
That's what I'm saying. They let him walk.
Yeah.
They're either not here or they were bust. All right, 17. Now, this is the year that Vrabel came in, I believe, 17.
Yep.
Corey Davis, first-round draft pick. Where is he at?
Jets.
Adoree Jackson, first-round draft pick. Where is he at?
Giants.
Taywan Taylor, third-round draft pick. Where is he at?
USFL.
Jonnu Smith, third-round draft pick. Where is he at?
New England.
Okay. None of these guys are on this team, right?
Yep.
So you got 7 people in 2 years that are no longer on this team. All right. Let's go to 18. Rashaan Evans, a bust.
I don't even know where he's at.
He's at Atlanta.
I wouldn't say he's a bust.
He didn't get the job done the way they wanted him to get it done.
But he had a couple of good years though.
He's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Harold Landry got him.
Yeah.
He's here.
Yep.
Re-signed him, but he's injured now. But that's not Vrabel or Robinson's fault that he's injured. But okay, that's 1 for 1. I mean, 1 for 2. Okay. 19. Now this is what is making people mad. A.J. Brown, slam dunk, home run. You got him. Where is he at?
Philadelphia.
Okay, but this is the draft that everybody loved, right? And they should have. Jeffrey Simmons, arguably the second best defensive lineman in the National Football League. He's a top 5 player, right? Jeffrey Simmons.
Agreed.
Nate Davis he's solid. Okay. We got Amani Hooker. He's becoming one of the best safeties in the game.
Just re-up for the second contract. That's always your hope, right? Is when you draft a guy that he'll be around for a while.
Vrabel came in 2018, not 2017.
So that wasn't his draft. So it was 2018. So his first year, it's just like really nobody. So you have Simmons, you have Nate Davis, you have Amani Hooker, and you have David Long Jr., who's a player. We like David Long Jr.
I like David Long.
So that was your best draft right there. That draft right there. Okay, 20. Is anybody from 20 an impact player? Isaiah Wilson's gone. Fulton, it's okay. And Chris Jackson, he's injured.
Yeah.
7th-round pick. And then if you look at the 21 draft, Caleb Farley, I don't think the guy's a cornerback. That's just me.
I think he's leaning towards being potentially a bust.
Yeah, he's leaning toward being cut because they're going to go get another defensive back in the draft again or sign a veteran free agent.
They got McCreary.
And McCreary, but I'm saying they're going to have to get another one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had Caleb Farley. You had Radent. Where's he at?
The bench.
Okay. Who else is in that 21 draft? I didn't even get to the 21 draft other than Radens and Farley.
Yeah. I mean, those are the
two guys.
Because you have a few that
you have a few guys that are still around. Des Fitzpatrick gone. He's been cut twice.
Twice, yeah.
Exactly.
You at 21, you had Farley, Radens, Monty Rice, who's hurt, Molden's hurt, Fitzpatrick, Rashad Weaver, Racy McMath.
So
Brady
Weaver,
Beast.
Molden, pretty good picks.
Weaver and Molden right now.
They're solid players.
Yeah.
Weaver's a solid player. Molden's not playing. What I'm trying to get at is this. You have all these draft picks, and more than half of them are no longer with your organization.
Right.
And we're talking about high picks. I'm not talking about 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. When you draft a guy in the 7th round, 6th round, if they make the team, great. But if they don't, then it was like, okay, we took the guy, wanted to see if it worked out. It didn't. We cut him, possibly put him on the practice squad because now the practice squad is larger. But you're talking about high picks that have either that hadn't worked out or they're no longer with the team. You haven't found a way to re-sign these guys. You look at the organizations that sustain that winning culture and they win consistently. Why? Because they build through their draft.
Yep.
They get there, especially their early draft picks, they build with them. And this team, for whatever reason, it hadn't happened.
Yep, and it's catching up to him, and I think it's going to continue to catch up to him as well. Coming up next, we will shift gears. We'll talk Tennessee, Florida coming up this weekend. The voice of the Vols, Bob Kessling, going to join us here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You watch The Game.
Shot on the score. Philip Tomasino on the power play.
We talk The Game.
I think the Predators have significantly upgraded with him in the top 6.
We are The Game. Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Got chronic joint pain but want to avoid steroids and surgery? Take some advice from pro football legend Emmitt Smith. Call QC Kinetics.
Let QC Kinetics help you improve your quality of life with biologic therapies that get your body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
These exciting new regenerative treatments from local medical professionals can help your body heal itself with lasting pain relief.
Trust me, you want to avoid surgery if you can. Check out these biologic treatments to see what your options are.
QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime, no surgery, no drugs.
I'm talking about joint pain we all can relate to in your knees, your shoulders, your hips, and your lower back. They'll get you feeling good again.
Get relief now.
What are you waiting on? Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event this weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, are showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
Everyone loves Tacori, meticulously crafted by master artisans in their California design studio. Discover the hidden details and exceptional quality that sets Tacori apart. There's always more than meets the eye with Tacori. Come explore the entire Tacori collection, including all new Tacori fine jewelry, earrings, bracelets, eternity bands, pendants, and more.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Come join us and take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. This Friday through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
We gather together in communities across the nation to remember and honor, to celebrate and support, to light the night. We are LLS, and when we walk, cancer runs. Find your local event at lightthenight.org.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Still in company. Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushes.
Awesome Game 7. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
1 o'clock hour, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, I almost said Nick Keys.
Nick Westbrook Akine.
Yeah. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason with you. Well, it was funny.
Nick Keezer is here.
Nick Keezer's here.
There is a Nick here.
I looked at Nick. He's currently on the phone trying to get Bob Kessling on. And so I looked at him, as you see on our stream. Nick hard at work. I looked at him and just my brain said,
Chase McCabe, Nick Keats. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Willy Donick, Derek Mason.
Nick behind the glass.
Nick behind the glass. Intern Connor as well. We'll get to Bob Kessling here in just a second because this is a big game coming up.
Game day.
Game day is going to be there. I think Barstool is going to be there. SEC Nation, I think, is going to be there. We say hello now to Bob Kessling, the voice of the Tennessee Volunteers, who is with us. Bob, how you doing?
I'm great, guys. I'm great. Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Is Knoxville just electric right now? Is the game on Saturday nears? I mean, obviously one of the biggest rivalry for Tennessee, but a lot of hype going into this weekend.
That's kind of an understatement. I mean, everybody here is really jazzed up and excited, and that's what everybody's talking about. And everybody's been frustrated by how lopsided the series has been over the last decade and a half, and they kind of smell blood in the water. But those of us that have followed this series for so many years know that just because you're favored doesn't mean you're going to win this game. So you better go out and play well, and it'll be supercharged. And I think both sides will be supercharged on Saturday. I think on paper, Tennessee's got the better team. I mean, Florida is trying to put things together under a first-year coach, and they've had some stumbles along the way. But I think they'll be ready to play on Saturday, and Tennessee's going to have to play well to win this game, I think.
Coach Josh Heupel said in his press conference that he wants it to be as hard as possible for Florida to communicate with each other, basically wanting the fans to get into it, wanting Neyland to be loud. I think there's no doubt that is going to be the case. But from a strategic standpoint, how important will the fans be because of what the head coach just said about communication?
Well, Anthony Richardson, although he's played some, is still kind of an inexperienced quarterback. And so you look at it, if he can't communicate with his guys and there's any bit of confusion, that's really going to help Tennessee. So I think the louder it is in there, the worse it's going to be for Florida. And, Anthony Richardson is a very talented guy, but this will be a different situation for him to play in. We'll see how he reacts. And, there have been a lot of stories in the Florida media this week about how he hadn't run the last 2 weeks because the fact that their backup quarterback, Jack Miller, is banged up. But I would think they will pull out all the stops on Saturday against Tennessee. And if Richardson has a chance to take off running, I think he'll do that.
Bob Kessling, the voice of the Vols, is with us here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hendon Hooker took the starting job last year. He has done a tremendous job, but Joe Milton, his backup, they share a bond and seem to be very close. How important has that been in the development of both quarterbacks to be able to lean on each other?
Well, I think you hit on a key point. The fact is that Tennessee has two quarterbacks. I mean, there are a lot of teams out there, they're not sure who their number one guy is right now. And Tennessee's got two guys that they trust. Milton and Hooker are roommates. They push each other in practice. And I'm not sure I've seen two prettier balls thrown in Neyland Stadium than the two touchdown passes that Joe Milton threw last week. I mean, those were just he's got a once-in-a-lifetime arm. It's amazing just to watch him on the practice field, how he can zip the ball and just how well he throws it. Now, we all know he's had some touch issues in the past and making some decisions, but he's a mature guy, and I think Tennessee really feels great about its quarterbacks. Hooker has just been phenomenal since he took over the starting job. He was beat out clearly last year by Joe Milton in training camp, and he didn't sulk. He didn't go to the transfer portal. He just went to Josh Heupel and said, "What do I have to do to get on the field?" And Heupel told him, and he did that. And then when he had his chance, he took it and ran with it. He does not put the ball in harm's way. He's a very accurate passer. He hadn't thrown an interception yet this year. He only threw 3 all of last year, which is a phenomenal number, because you figure at one point or another, ball's going to bounce off somebody's shoulder pad or off their face mask. But that hasn't happened with Hendon Hooker. I think it's a credit to how accurate he is throwing the football. So, but Hooker's got to play well Saturday. I mean, people, sometimes we tend to forget, against Pittsburgh, they only scored 3 points in the second half. So they're going to have to score points on Saturday to win this game, I think, and they can't turn the ball over. And they can't have 11 penalties like they had last week also against Akron.
Now, what is it about Coach Heupel that has gotten this team to perform the way they perform it? Obviously, you started to see it last year, but it seems like this year, yes, they still do have their few warts, but it seems like this team is on another level even from last season.
Yeah, there's a calmness about him. There's a quiet confidence about him. He's not a guy that's fretting and yelling and screaming when they make a mistake. He's a guy that understands that football is not a perfect game. Everybody's going to make mistakes, but you don't want to make that mistake 2 times. He doesn't want his guys playing tight, and they don't. They play with a really very calm confidence like he has. He puts a lot of stock into preparation. He thinks that every week, every day is very important getting ready to play on Saturday, and the team has bought into that. And he coaches from confidence. He doesn't coach he's not a guy that's going to beat you down. He's not a guy that's going to berate you if you make mistakes. He's going to coach you up, and I think the players have really responded to that. And there's a lot of confidence in this building that when they take the field, that they're prepared from the coach's standpoint, and they're mentally ready to go. And because if you look back at all the games that Coach Heupel since he's been here, they really haven't had a game in which you thought, well, gosh, they just didn't play well, or there wasn't much effort out there, or they had a lot of mistakes, and they just looked. And last year they didn't finish games that they had a chance to finish, like Alabama, and you look at the Ole Miss game and the Pittsburgh game, and I mean they were in those games in the fourth quarter and couldn't finish them. But they finished the game against Pittsburgh, and that's even given this team more confidence that they're growing and they're trending in the right direction.
Talking to Bob Kessling, the voice of the Tennessee Vols. It's Tennessee hosting Florida. Game day is there. It's the CBS 2:30 game, and, of course, Bob will be on the call. It's the first time since 2017 that both teams have been ranked going into it. So a lot of really good excitement for this one. Bob, I want to ask you one more about Josh Heupel. One of the things I have been impressed with, he came in and there was a lot of things going on, right? You had the violations, the NCAA part of it, coming through the issues with Jeremy Pruitt and everything. I just have really admired the way he carries himself publicly. He's very even-keeled. I feel like that has really played well to sort of be kind of sort of a calming influence to get through a tough time and have some early success.
Yeah, you're right. You hit it right on the head. He's the son of a coach, and he grew up watching his dad coach and how you don't get ruffled and you get ready for the next play and you control what you can control. Coach Heupel had said all along, there's nothing he can do about the NCAA investigation. Nothing he can do about the penalties, that whatever they are and what they might be, and when they're handed out and all those kind of things. He just deals with what he has on his plate. The other thing that I've been very impressed with about him, he manages time so well. I mean, they're on a precision schedule. If he tells you he's going to be someplace at 11:15, he's there at 11:15. And, sometimes these SEC jobs get a little bit too big for some coaches, and it kind of spirals out of control because they don't manage time well. That's not the case with Coach Heupel. He manages time very well, sticks to a schedule, and every single day for a head football coach at the SEC, I mean, there are things that come up that you aren't anticipating, but you still have to get your team ready, and you still have to spend time with your team, but you got to manage these other issues, alumni and all these other things, speaking engagements. You got to manage all of that, and I've just been very impressed with how he does that, and how he just seems to have a very good grasp on what it takes to be a head coach in this league, which – this league can be pretty tough on coaches at times, and he seemed to handle all of that very well.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday, Bob. Enjoy it, and see if the Vols can get him a W there at home. But thanks so much for joining us today. We'll do it again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Bob Kessling, the voice of the Tennessee Volunteers, joining us. Tennessee taking on Florida, coming up at Neyland Stadium on Saturday. We'll discuss that game more. Take your calls and texts as well at 615-737-1025. But, if you're going to watch some games like I'm going to do this weekend, you should do it with a Screwball peanut butter whiskey. It is my go-to. I like it as a shot, but you can have it on the rocks as a drink as well. A peanut butter old-fashioned, which is very, very good. An espresso martini or a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. Just go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information and more recipes as well. I like it because it's smooth. It's an original. It's the most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world, and it's made with real whiskey, real peanuts, and real peanut butter, and that's what gives it its great taste. And like I said, it goes down smooth, does not burn, and it's easy to take as a shot or as a drink or however you like. So do like I do when you're out and about with your friends. Ask for it by name. Say, I want a Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Also do like I do. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors. 35% alcohol by volume.
2, 3, 4, look. High school football is here. Join Big Joe Dubin every Friday night at 6 for the Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz, presented by National Playmakers Academy.
Just a small sample of these great coaches in our area.
We'll go around the mid-state for scores and reports on all the big games.
If I'm a high school coach, I want the challenge.
The Game Blitz is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader, supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more, all at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
Hey, it's Big Joe on the go. Look, I get it. Nobody likes being in a car accident, but when that happens, make it easy on yourself and call Apple Collision Centers so you don't have to stress. They're locally owned with 3 convenient locations in Oak Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Apple Collision Centers managers combine for 60-plus years experience, and they only recommend original equipment parts on your vehicle. So, if you're in need of a repair today or down the road, just head over to Apple Collision Centers. Stan and his team will take great care of you. Online, applecollisioncenters.com.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with the promo code JGM. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props, and you can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same-game parlay. Get paid and get your winnings fast, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So sign up with the promo code JGM for your first no-sweat first bet. That's promo code JGM, and make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days and restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
I love this show. Never miss a moment of the show. Okay, all right, okay. Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Join NFL pregame this Sunday, live from Wow, I can't read. Live from Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge, located at 1322 6th Avenue North in Nashville. Join Jared Stillman and Forever Titans wide receivers Chris Sanders and Derek Mason from 9:30 to 11:30 prior to the Titans taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. The NFL pregame show is brought to you by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, Superbook Sports, and Ounce of Hope Cannabis Company here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Also debuting our post-game show around 4-ish after the Titans game at Margaritaville. We'll be on the second floor of Landshark Bar and Grill and Sportsbook. Chad Withrow, Jonathan Hutton going to anchor that coverage, so looking forward to that as well. But Saturday, Tennessee taking on Florida, the 2:30 game on CBS. Also, game day going to be there, so you know that they're going to have some different guests that are going to be coming and stopping by. But I think this is a huge game for Josh Heupel. Could be a just a signature win for him to beat the arch rival in Florida. Because I think Billy Napier is going to get things turned around. I think he's a good coach. I think Anthony Richardson is talented, but as Bob Kessling said in our last segment, guys, I mean, he's inexperienced, and I think that's where the Vols have an advantage is they have a pretty experienced club.
Yeah, they do. Starting with the quarterback and along that offense. This is a team that has bought into what Heupel is preaching. This offense that Heupel runs fit the players that he has. I think we talked yesterday about, having players and then fitting your system around the players, or not having the players and still trying to run your system, but you don't have the players. Well, in this situation, Heupel has the system, this wide open, system that gets up and down the field, but he also has the player, and more importantly, he has the quarterback that can do the things that he wants to do. So, this offense is always going to score points, and having, Florida come into Knoxville, Florida's defense needs to be hitting on all cylinders because this offense of UT can score, and they can score bunches.
That's what I like about the matchup for Tennessee. To me, if you want to beat Tennessee, you've got to be able to score. And if you can, then you can play with Tennessee, especially there. But unless Tennessee just completely does things that are a little uncharacteristic of them, and that's turn it over 3-4 times, to me that's how Florida will have to win this game because I don't see Florida as an explosive offense that can outgun Tennessee. So it's going to have to be mistakes by Tennessee. Now, we know in this series there have been some nightmares and there have been some games where Tennessee felt like they were in position to win. I mean, look, the record speaks for itself, 16 out of 17. All right, they have found a lot of different ways to lose this game. They have been overmatched in some of these games. So this time they are the better team, I think.
Oh, I do too.
They are the better team. So I think if they do their thing, this could be have a little fun at Knoxville this week. They might get their way with Florida. What do you guys think? Derek, I don't know if you've watched Richardson play a whole lot. I would like to see more of where he goes because the kid has a lot of talent.
He's a talented player.
Now, but this will be a really good test for him. Like hostile environment, he's going to have to really be on. But this is, there's a lot of guys who come in really highly rated. They get the job, and then you have, like last week was he's been high and low, right? He had the great win against Utah. They lose last week, or they lose to Kentucky, and it's kind of like maybe things aren't going to go smooth sailing. That's probably the first time he's really been hit hard like that in terms of people questioning, is he the real deal or not? Like when you're a high-level recruit, you just zoom through life and everybody's showering you with praise. You're like, you're a superstar. He's a superstar. He's the man. He's going on. And then you have that first great chapter against Utah. So it's like the closer that blows the save for the first time. Maybe you've closed out 10 in a row, but how do you bounce back the next time out? And now you got to go into Knoxville where they're going to have this huge, amazing crowd.
Well, the Vols are going to test him. You know he has the potential to make plays. He showed it in the Utah game where he led them to a win toward the end of at the end of the game. So you know he has the big play, or he has that moxie to will his team to a victory. But he's never in his short career, he's never been in a situation like this. 100,000+ be screaming and yelling at you. Every move you make, they're gonna be ridiculing you. Any mistake you make, they're gonna really jump on you even harder. And that's what the Vols want to happen. So they're going to put as much pressure on him, I believe, until he proves that he can handle it. That's what you do to a young quarterback that hasn't been in a situation like this. But like you're right, Willie. This game, UT has the better roster. When you're talking about 11-on-11 offense versus defense and 11-on-11 defense versus offense, Tennessee has the better roster. They can't do anything. The quarterback who hasn't turned the ball over this year, this can't be a game where he turns the ball over.
Right.
Guys have been playing really well on offense, and they've been playing good on defense. This isn't the game where now you start to do your own thing. You feel you're full of yourself. So now, because it's the national televised game and everybody's watching, now you want to try to do something outside of what Coach Heupel and that coaching staff is teaching you. That's the only way I believe UT lose this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's mistakes, so don't beat yourself.
Yeah.
And don't get caught up in what the record is and all that stuff. I mean, feed off the atmosphere because you know it's going to be good, but you at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play your game. And, Hendon Hooker has said it, that he doesn't feel like he has really reached that point where he's playing to his full ability yet. I mean, this would be the perfect week for him to do something like that. I think one thing that would help is the run game, involving the run game a little bit more, whether it's Jalen Wright or Jabari Small, whoever is getting a bulk of the carries there. But, they need to establish that run game, which I think is going to allow Hooker to do more of the things that he wants to do.
I'm looking back through Anthony Richardson last year, and I'm trying to look at similar kind of environments that he's been in. The one that I see, he did play a pretty good game. Now, he had some ups and downs. At LSU, they played the crazy game where they lost 49-42 to LSU. And he was, at the time, sharing the job with Emory Jones. But he threw three touchdown passes, ran for one, but he threw 2 interceptions as well. So he's got maybe a little more experience than I gave him credit for initially. But I still think this is going to be a great test for him because now he's the guy.
But no longer is he sharing.
Yes, he's the main guy now.
Yeah, he's the guy. So as the guy, now the pressure is on you. Say last year, if this game was last year, well, the pressure is not only on you, it's on the other quarterback too because they're, going back and forth. But now it's you. This is your game. You're the quarterback. And this crowd in Knoxville is going to be very, very.
It's going to be awesome. I wish I was going.
It's going to be loud. I've never been to a game in Knoxville. I've seen a bunch of them on television. I'm sure this one will rank right up there with the greatest, crowds they've ever had.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And you know what I saw? This is interesting, and it's a sign of the times because it's harder and harder to get the butts in seats, especially when you have an enormous stadium like Neyland Stadium is. But this is the first time they've sold out back-to-back home games since 2016.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
I'm reading that right out of the ESPN preview of the game.
That's an interesting stat. But I'm curious of this because Bob Kesseling said that there's a calmness, around the program, a calmness with Josh Heupel. And that's something they haven't really had for a while. It just feels like everything has settled in right. But coming up next, I want to ask you guys what the ceiling is for Josh Heupel at Tennessee at this point. We're one season and a handful of games into his tenure. We'll discuss that coming up next. It's Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. You can weigh in as well, 615-737-1025. That's our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com here on 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Nashville's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Men, what if I told you that now you are able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMD4Men.com.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 615-457-8700. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, and Gallatin. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Get your game on at Social Furniture. Entertain in style and make your social experience more comfortable with new furniture. Everyone loves to socialize. That's why you need new furniture. Save big. Professional same-day delivery and installation. Finance interest-free. Get rewarded with social cash back. Buy $1,000, get $125 cash back. Buy $3,000, get $450 cash back on your Social Furniture gift card to spend on accessories, new TV, sports events, or anything you like. Huge selection in stock. Shop local. Shop social.
312 Pizza Company is a family-owned restaurant located in the heart of Germantown, serving up authentic Chicago-style eats right here in Nashville. 312 Pizza Company only uses the best all-natural ingredients and makes everything in-house from scratch every single day. And trust me, you can taste the difference. They've got deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, their Italian beef. You'll taste the freshness. Stop in for a pint of local beer and a slice of pizza, or order online at 312pizzaco.com. 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
Thank you for calling Navy Federal Credit Union. How can I help you?
Hi, if I'm in the Army, not in the Navy, am I still eligible for membership?
Yes, you are.
What about my sister in the Air Force?
Her too.
And my dad's a Marine.
We serve all branches of the military, veterans, and their families.
My dog is a retired military working dog.
I'll see what I can do.
Find out if you're eligible at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue a 6-game series tonight at the Louisville Bats.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 5:20.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, this is Roman Yossi. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tune in this Sunday for the NFL Game of the Week on 94.9 The Fan. This week's game will feature the Green Bay Packers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 3:25. NFL Game of the Week is presented by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue and Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download the app today. Back here Chase, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, discussing the Vols and the Gators coming up from Knoxville this weekend. And, you know, it's funny. We were just discussing this. I went with Missouri and silly underdog picks over Auburn. You know, Bob Kesling described it as a calmness that hasn't been there in a while. Everything is great with Josh Heupel, whereas it is the complete polar opposite in Auburn with Brian Harsin. I do believe that if Auburn loses to Missouri this week, he might be shown the door before the weekend's over.
I think that's one to watch, no question, because you go back to the offseason, there was all of that, the rumblings that they wanted him out at the end of last season, and you know that those people they're smoldering right now. If I just envision a scenario, if Missouri's not good, but if Missouri can hang around in the game, sometimes it helps to be the road team. I think Missouri would like to be the road team if they can stay in the game late. I think it almost plays to their advantage because there's going to be so much tension and negativity swirling throughout the stands. It's the opposite of what the home field advantage should be.
Sure. But I just think things are so bad there for Auburn. And, I mean, you had, like you said, all the stuff that had happened in the offseason and coaches leaving. I mean, Derek Mason was one. There was the defensive coordinator. Had a bunch of transfers. So who knows how that will turn out. But I asked the question of the ceiling for Josh Heupel. And, again, we're still very early in his tenure. But when I look at this team, I love the offense, up-tempo. He brought what he did, you know, what he's had with him at UCF and brings it to Knoxville. He's obviously hit on having a quarterback. Now you're going to have to continue to do that. You know, we're going to see how his recruiting pays off as things go along. But he's got to beat Florida. Florida would be the signature win for him that he has been looking, you know, really looking for. But what is kind of the ceiling for Josh Heupel in Knoxville?
Well, I think it's as long as he and you hit on it, recruiting. As long as he can continue to recruit at a high clip and get the players that fit what he wants to do from an offensive standpoint, as well as from a defensive standpoint, but I'm just looking from the offensive side of the ball. If he can continue to do that, I think no one truly knows what his ceiling can be.
Right.
Because, you know, he's put together a team in this last 2 years that has improved each year.
Sure.
And it's only going to continue to improve as long as he continues to recruit with the likes of Georgia and Alabama and some of these other players. What in the heck is that?
It's the microphone.
Oh, my goodness.
I wasn't even touching it.
I could.
So, and you know.
Bad.
You're like,
I'm the low rider. I told you I'm the low rider today.
So, yes, if he, as long as he continues to recruit right along with those guys, and then more importantly, don't allow the talent in the state of Tennessee to get outside of Tennessee. That's going to be important as well. I think he's always going to have a good team if indeed that happens. So you don't know exactly what his ceiling could be.
But you got to get signature wins.
Yeah, you have.
Like to this point,
it starts with Florida, but you got LSU.
Oh yeah, look,
Alabama,
it's a murderer's row.
Kentucky, and Georgia. Those 4 games right there, that's going to make or break your season.
Yeah, because his biggest win to this point, I would say, was last year beating Kentucky. He was the 18th ranked team at the time. But
it's laughable to think that Kentucky could possibly be that just with the history involved there. But I get it. Kentucky is really
Pitt was a big win this year. That was a hard fought win, but
right. It's the next step in the chain.
Sure,
is to get a win over Florida, even though you're a
10.5 point favorite. You're expected to win.
Yeah, and it's just hard to wrap your arms around that. You're supposed to beat a team that you're 1-16 against. But so I'll give you the 2 answers. I think step by step, this is the next step. I envision though, like when you take the job at Tennessee, despite all of the turmoil, there is a belief that you have the resources to win the whole thing, and therefore.
The ceiling is the roof.
Good job, Nick. Well done. You were really on the ball there. Good job,
man. No, but here's why.
But you know what I was going to say though. Imagine though if Josh Heupel can create a situation, and he's already got the real high level quarterback. I always forget the kid's name, but he's got the quarterback. He's got all the NIL. Whether he's the real deal or not, if he can get that guy in there, and it becomes a program like Oklahoma, where, hey, you come to Tennessee as the quarterback, you're going to put up big numbers. You're going to be in the highest profile college games. You're going to play for championships. Like if he can get them there,
you could potentially win a Heisman.
Exactly. That is what they're looking to get to, right? And they've been down for a long time. But Georgia had their low cycle. Florida's in kind of a down cycle now. Alabama, even back in the day, they had a down cycle.
It was so long ago.
It's been a while, but it was, from
I get it,
BS before Saban.
Exactly.
But between Stallings and Saban, there were some really rough times. Mike DuBose and Shula, Price. Remember the crazy scandal with that? So Tennessee was going to town on Alabama for, I don't know, 7 or 8 straight years or whatever it was. It was a long streak. It all runs in cycles. You got to break that cycle, though, and I feel like Heupel's path would be get me that quarterback who is the real difference maker. Hendon Hooker's a really, really good player.
Yeah.
But there's another level of the superstar quarterback in the supercharged system that could be the place to be.
Was that scandal when Fulmer got subpoenaed at SEC Media Days to testify or something?
The years are running together. I don't remember exactly how that calendar worked, but they were on probation a number of different times, Alabama was. So that was the recruitment of the kid from Memphis was when but I don't know that Price was there for so quick. Wasn't even. But who was the other guy? Franchione? Dennis Franchione. Remember the whole scandal he had? He was – that didn't go very well either. So there was some down times.
There could be a book of from Stallings to Saban.
Yeah, the in-between years. It wasn't good. It was not good.
So you had you had Gene Stallings, then Mike DuBose, Dennis Franchione.
Now DuBose was caught cheating.
Yeah.
Right. That was not good.
Yeah.
And then after him was Franchione. That didn't last very long. How many years for Franchione?
2.
Only 2. Then Price, who never even coached a game. Then Shula.
Yeah, never coached a game. Then Shula.
And then Saban.
And then Joe Kynes was the interim after.
Everybody forget about Joe Kynes.
Joe Kynes, of course, has been at every school in the nation, I think, is at one time or another. But usually as a coordinator.
Here's the reason why. Because you brought up, the signature win. This could be a signature win. Or if he wins it, this is a signature win for him. It checks that box. This is why the Pittsburgh game, even though Pittsburgh was a ranked team, highly ranked team, this is why, people don't feel that, you beat Pitt, but that's not really a signature win. It's a win. It's a good win, but it's not a change the program win. Because people in the SEC, they don't look at beating someone in that, what is that? What conference is that? That's the Pitt is in the
Pitt's in the ACC.
Yeah, I was about to say the old Big East.
They used to.
I was about to say the old Big East. They don't see, other than Clemson, they don't see beating someone in the ACC as a big accomplishment.
100%.
You need to beat someone in the SEC. You need to beat Alabama, a Georgia, a LSU when they're high, or Florida when they're high, or that rival. That's a signature win to us. Yeah, Pitt was ranked high. We understand that. Yes, many believe Pitt will win the ACC, but that's still not a signature win of all fans.
And I would say this year, just where they're at and the state of the conference. You beat Florida, you beat LSU.
I got them beating Georgia, so there you
I know, but I'll say you beat Florida, you beat LSU. Then it's about are you competitive against Alabama? Are you competitive against Georgia? And then Kentucky can be a coin flip because that's probably what it's going to be.
No, Chase, I believe that if you beat Florida, and I know you got to play Alabama. But if you beat Florida in such a fashion that it's just dominant, Vol fans expect you. They don't expect you to compete with Alabama. They
want you to go
They
win.
want you to win, especially how Alabama has looked this year.
Yeah, but Vols fans are going to drink a lot of beer this weekend, so their expectations might be a little clouded.
But that's what the expectation is going to be. If they go in and they dominate Florida.
I know, but you got to be realistic.
I understand that. But their thing is we have that quarterback, we have the receivers, running backs, offense is playing great, defense is getting stops. We don't want to just compete and keep it close with Alabama. We want to win. We want to win that game. So,
look, I hear you, and I mean it would be great if they could figure out how to do that. But it's in Knoxville. But you got to be realistic.
Yeah,
You said they're going to beat Georgia. So.
I say they're going to beat Georgia. If I wasn't such a big Saban fan, I would say they beat Alabama too.
Yeah, well.
But
I'm
not going to go down that road.
I don't feel very good about that at all. Coming up next, we'll get back into the Titans and put a bow on things. Stillman and Company is coming up at the top of the hour as they will talk all things Titans. That is coming up next. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
185! Every team needs a quarterback. 185! That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown!
Tim. ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
How that team is built, I think there's a lot to like about it.
Every Tuesday at noon, Tim with Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Presented by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue and BetUS.com on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis, finally done with record heat after back-to-back days of breaking high-temperature records today. The first day of fall and feeling like it. Lower 80s and lower humidity into the afternoon. A few clouds on and off, but relatively a nice day.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the happy face truck today.
Football is back, and so are the deals at Electronic Express. Get an LG 75-inch 4K TV for only $699, or a Samsung laundry pair for $549 each. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department: computers, appliances, 4K TVs, smart home, furniture, mattresses, and more. Don't miss out on an HP Pavilion touchscreen laptop for just $649, or a Klipsch soundbar system for $199. Shop in-store or online and get up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event this weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, are showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
See the latest from Viraggio, handcrafted on Fifth Avenue in New York by true artisans with unmatched attention to detail and the highest quality standards. Viraggio is the only ring that can be customized for every woman's specific desires. Come explore the entire Viraggio collection at Genesis.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Come join us and take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. This Friday through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
MTSU football welcomes Tennessee Titan Kevin Byard back home to Floyd Stadium Friday, September 30th as they host UTSA Roadrunners under the lights. Blue Raider great Kevin Byard will become only the second MTSU football player to have his jersey retired. Kickoff is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. Friday, September 30th. Make sure to grab your seat today. To purchase tickets, visit goblueraiders.com/tickets. Middle Tennessee, we are Blue Knighted.
Nashville's best deal of the week is Bavarian Beer House at Opry Mills. Bavarian Beer House, Nashville's only authentic German beer hall, is full of fun, food, music, and most importantly, beer. Enjoy traditional German bratwurst, schnitzel, giant pretzels, and more in an Oktoberfest-inspired space. Visit BeerHouseNashville.com for their live music schedule. Get a $50 gift card for half off right now at thegamenashville.com/deals while supplies last. Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Their service and parts team will get your work site up and running in no time. Parman Tractor and Equipment will come to you for service if needed. Visit ParmanTractor.com for more info. Your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Stillman and Company coming up here in just a few minutes as Jared and Caroline will continue to look at the Titans and the Raiders coming up this weekend. We'll do that tomorrow. Eddie George going to join the show at 1 o'clock. So looking forward to that and getting his thoughts on the Titans and the Raiders as both teams try and get off the schneid, starting their season 0-2. And it's not going to be easy by any means with some of the injuries that the Titans have. Still no update on Taylor Lewan and his status, not only for the game but for the season as a whole. I mean, you know he's not going to play this week, but obviously a big hole to fill on an offensive line that already needs a lot of work. So we will continue that discussion.
He hadn't got to L.A. yet.
Yeah, he would.
It takes about 4 hours.
Lower Antioch's right over here.
Lower
He's
Antioch.
walking.
Yeah.
I got a question. When you're on the schneid, what does it look like? Like you kind of know you're on the schneid.
The friend
you're
zone.
0-2.
Yeah, I mean that for me.
But like, and you get off the schneid. Like, do you know? Like, what does the schneid look like?
I don't
I'm just
know.
trying to create a visual.
I don't know.
When you're
I'm always on
It's kind of
the
like the
schneid.
You just
stoop.
know
It's
when
kinda
you're
like
on
the
it.
stoop.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's more of a feeling than a visual.
It's kind of like the stoop.
I'll let you. I'll let you know when I get off the schneid.
I got to look up the origin of the schneid. Like, where did that come from?
I don't know.
Chris Berman was always the first guy to. I think he was the first guy I heard use that.
Yeah.
He used to use that all the time. Get off the schneid. But what is the schneid?
I don't know.
What does it look like? I don't know.
According to Shane in the Burrow, Mike Price was never on the schneid because he's the only coach in Bama history to go undefeated. So there you go.
He never coached.
Never lost a game.
He won some money from them though.
Yes,
Because
he
I
did.
think he won the lawsuit. Remember, he was fired.
Yeah.
And then
I had to go look all that up. He was fired because I guess he couldn't stay out of a strip club.
Yeah.
there was allegedly an
Make it
incident,
rain.
an incident at the strip club that didn't go well. That I think it was Sports Illustrated. It's something. It was a big story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big scandal.
And that's when they hired.
But
Sheila.
he
Typically
always
happens.
maintained that was erroneous, and somewhere somebody got him some money out of that when he challenged it legally.
Yeah.
But he never coached at Alabama.
Which means he got off the schneid.
I guess in some respects he got off
Yeah.
the
We talked about this earlier, but Czech Republic officials have basically told the NHL that the Russian players are not welcome when the NHL is scheduled to be in Prague. Obviously, the Predators are part of that, taking on the San Jose Sharks October 7th and 8th at the O2 Arena. So that would affect the Predators with Yakov Trinan, potentially others, and Igor Afanasyev as well. But and then Evgeny Svechnikov for the San Jose Sharks would be another one. So this is going to be something that is going to be discussed for the next few days as the NHL has to figure out what their response to this is.
Like I said earlier in the show, I think you have to, and we understand how sensitive this whole subject is and what's going on and a country being affected by it on both sides. Because I'm sure there are people in Russia that are thinking like, why did we even invade Ukraine? Why did we do this? And obviously the people in Ukraine are, they have the same sentiment. But these players, Willie, have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
It's not like they are picking up arms and fighting and then decide to pick up their hockey sticks and go play hockey. No, these guys have no – it's not like they have any political pull in this. They are citizens just like the rest of them, so they shouldn't have to suffer because of what their government is choosing to do. Like I said earlier, this is where the NHL needs to step up for their players. And I'm not saying that they have not been, but need to step up for their players. Like, listen, we understand what's going on over there, but if you don't want one of us, you don't want all of us. That's just the way it is. Because if you go and leave the player behind, I just think that's sending a loud message to that player and any other player that may go through this situation.
I'm curious, too. I mean, Dominik Hasek was the one, at least in the story, that apparently is part of this decision to, I guess, in some form or fashion, let the NHL know that this is their position. And he's got people in the government that apparently are backing him. But this was the first that we heard of this today.
Sure.
I hadn't heard anything about this. So there's quite a bit to sort out. I wonder if there'll be some pushback if the league says, oh, okay, we understand your position, so we'll just move our games to X. I don't know. I don't know how long the league has been aware of this, but there is some time, hopefully, to sort this out. I mean, the NHL, as we said earlier when this story came out, the NHL has publicly, they've backed Ukraine with support. They've taken international events away from Russia. There's been a big bonding together to try to support Ukraine. And so that's the dilemma. But you want to – so what do you do? Each team only has a handful of Russians, only one clear guy for each team. So it's in the league's hands. It's a tricky, tricky thing. I don't know when we're going to hear something on this. I would imagine it's going to take a little while to sort through all of this stuff that and all of the options.
Is San Jose going to training camp anywhere? Like the Preds are going to Switzerland?
Yes.
They're going to Bern?
I believe it's Germany that they're playing an exhibition game in. Similar.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, there's probably that could be the solution.
Look, it's hard to speculate until you hear from the league because the league has not responded to this initial story that's come out. So I'm sure the wheels are turning.
We'll be live at training camp tomorrow at Centennial Sportsplex, but the Predators did announce today that Pekka Rinne has rejoined the Predators organization as a special alumni advisor. He will observe and learn from the Predator staff and with the goaltending coaches, specifically Ben Vanderklok. He was on the ice today as a coach, Coach Pex. And we heard from Michael McCarron earlier, who was on with us, and said it was weird looking over at lunch and seeing Pekka with the coaches and not sitting with the players. So, but cool to see Pekka back involved.
Oh, what a great ambassador for the team. There's so many different capacities that he could just be a positive. I think the most interesting one to a lot of people, because the ambassador part is a no-brainer, helping the foundation, just representing the team. There's any number of ways he can help. But on the ice as a budding coach, that's one I did not foresee. I didn't know. So obviously he's got a lot to bring to the table there. So good luck to him. Steelers-Browns tonight. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I kind of like Pittsburgh, to be honest with you. I think they're a 4-point dog on Superbook Sports, but I like the Steelers.
I'm going with Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
Steelers.
That's a big one.
The thing
is a big one.
I think that is a better team than maybe a lot of people thought. The quarterback is what could hold them back.
It doesn't hurt either. It doesn't help when you lose Watt.
Yeah, T.J. Watt being hurt, that certainly doesn't help.
And the Browns are trying to get off the mat from losing a game that was almost impossible to lose.
Off the schneid.
You saw Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb said, "It's on me. I should have knelt down. If he had slid down and not scored, they would have run the clock out."
Yeah.
Instead, he scores, puts them up by 13.
Yep.
The Jets score twice. They score on a big play,
get the
onside kick. Almost impossible what they pulled off. But Chubb was like, I know we should have won anyway, all of that stuff, but I'm putting that on me. So I want to see what Chubb does tonight. The Browns could be 2-0. They could be 0-2. Both of their games have been that close. So That'll be something to watch. Aaron Judge tonight going for number 61. He didn't get it last night. They play the Red Sox tonight. Something to watch.
Oh, that could be.
The Mets are off. The Braves in Philadelphia. Max Fried against Ranger Suarez. The Braves 1 game behind, trying to cut the Mets lead to a half a game.
That'll do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock live from Centennial Sportsplex. But don't go anywhere. Stillman and Company coming up next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
We out.